Coffee and Cream on Hail Varsity Radio with Andrew Rogers and Damon Benning.
I haven't talked about underdog or favorite. I just don't really care about any of that stuff. I mean, I'll leave that to all of you. I doubt Dallas cares about it a whole lot either.
As the Kraken win the draw, get it out to center. Tapped in, rolls on Andrew. Keep it going with the stick and then lifted out by Dallas. 4:05 and counting. Giveaway. Here's Hintz. He's in. He scores! Roope Hintz late in the second period. It's Hintz who draws first blood in Game 7.
From the belt, here's the pitch. And there's a swing and a ball hit towards the left center field gap. Long run for Ruiz. He can't get it because it's gone. It's over the wall. A 2-run shot, his 6th of the year. And the Diamondbacks now on top 4-0.
The 2-1 pitch. Kisner hits a drive. Deep left field. That's a grand slam for Kisner. Light up the night in downtown St. Louis indeed.
Dodgers hope to put the walk in walk-off. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, bases loaded. Here's the pitch. High and inside, ball 4, and the Dodgers indeed walk it off. Trace Thompson takes ball 4. Chris Taylor's going to go and congratulate him, and the Dodger bench is coming out. They're going to try and mug him on the middle of the field.
Hey, good morning. Coffee and Cream in the morning on Hail Varsity Radio, powered by Currency. Damon Benning, Andrew Rogers. DB, we had a pair of victories for us yesterday.
Yeah, you guys are cooking.
We're doing okay. We are chasing that 500 number that I set at the beginning of the month.
I made it seem as though you were crazy, which about 74% of the time you are.
What are they, 8 games away from that now?
Yeah.
8 wins?
With less than half the month to play. So I knew you could potentially run out of time, but you're well on your way.
So they have won, I think, 7 of their last 8.
Yes, they have.
17
Andrew.
and 25. So how many games are left this month?
I think you only have 9. So you're not.
Oh, I got to go 8-1?
Yeah. So I don't.
No, I got to.
I think. Wait.
Well, it would be impossible to go 500 then. At the end of the month.
You were just going to run out of time.
Right.
Because you had to go 10 games over 500 in the month of May to pull it off.
Yeah.
Now, that's a lot. But don't give up hope. No,
they gave me a little expectation, right?
Yeah, so between the 30th, you got a chance now. You'd have to go on no, you don't actually. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 games. You play every day.
Okay, so 14 games and I need
15.
8. 15 games and I need 8.
Yeah.
So I just got to go. Okay. If they win 8, we're tied, right?
Yeah, so you'd have
and then I could only afford to lose like 3.
You have to go plus 8 out of the 15, which means you've got to go come on, DB. You have to go 12 and 3.
Yeah, I can only lose 3.
Yeah, I don't know.
The way they're playing right now, I could see 12 and 3.
You got the Brewers, Dodgers, Reds, Guardians, Royals. So Royals will give you a chance. Although it's KC and St. Louis. So
do the Reds give me a chance? Kind of those in-betweener teams.
So the curious case of Hunter Green still, what happened?
Well, he got hurt, and then he just never rebounded. But this was a guy that everybody thought was going to be the biggest name.
Yeah,
when he made it up,
the human flamethrower.
Well, what did he average? Like 101?
Yeah, 101. 101.
Yeah, that's pretty insane.
101.
Yeah. Now, side note, speaking of pitching, Jack Flaherty actually went 7 innings yesterday.
Yeah, and you know what? He almost didn't get out of the first inning.
Mm-hmm. And sounds like Jack. Jack attack.
You walk the bases loaded. You get the double play to get out of it. It could have gotten hectic.
Oh, it could have gotten ugly quick.
And he just was.
And then he throws 10 Ks.
Yeah. Who had 11 last night? Somebody had 11 Ks. This is a pretty strong outing.
Ohtani.
Was it Ohtani?
I don't know. I
No,
just
it
took a
wasn't
guess. I know he
Ohtani.
pitched yesterday. He almost hit the cycle. He could have been the first starting pitcher ever to hit the cycle as a starting pitcher.
Yeah. They and who'd they beat? They beat the Orioles.
Yep.
Yeah. They kind of jumped on them, and then.
Well, the Orioles came back, and then it wasn't until Shohei hit.
So
that
what they
3-run
make
bomb.
it 4-4?
Yep, and then it was
And then
7-4.
And then
after his
7-4.
bomb.
Yeah. Yeah. Something like that. That's my memory.
And then your boys
got out to the early lead, squandered it, and had to walk it off.
I feel like that's
Literally.
the Dodgers this year, though, winning
Yeah.
by 1.
Yeah.
You're winning.
This run under Dave Roberts, they have been good in one-score games.
Really good.
One-run games,
Really, really good.
which is fine. I mean,
That didn't seem too enthusiastic.
because I don't want that to be the way that they play. But I don't know I don't think they're deep enough anymore to just pull away from teams because they could situational you to death.
Yeah.
Go righty lefty.
I get that.
They had a lot of flexibility. Now it's still good. Don't get me wrong, but how about Boone getting the gate yesterday? Did you watch his antics?
Yeah, that was
He got kicked out as though he wanted to be someplace else, like old school Norman Dale. Like, kick
Yeah,
me
you
out,
had like a graduation party to get to.
Kick me out. Kick me out. Give me a technical. What, coach? Kick me out.
Do it now. Do it now.
Do it. Because you want old shooter to coach, but
I'm gonna go watch the game at the bar across the street.
yeah, I don't think they had closed circuit going on in Old Hickory back then. I don't think. Were they like just rolling over to like sportscasters and watching games across the street?
I don't know.
I doubt it. That was in the
Yeah,
50s.
I'm sure they were just chilling.
No, but you could watch Shane. I'm asking you. Hey, you could watch TV at the sports bars in the 50s.
In the 50s, I'm
Yeah.
sure you probably could.
Yeah. They had television.
It
It'd have
may
to
not
be-
have been in color, but
But they were still doing tape delay and stuff for some
Right.
sports.
Right.
That's what's given me. And they certainly weren't doing high school.
no.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not crazy. Well, I am, but I'm not waiting for somebody smart to chime in.
Okay, so let's go one step further with this Boone thing because it was 6-0 when he got tossed.
Yeah.
What did you make of Aaron Judge's little side eye?
That he was going to hit one a couple of minutes later.
So this is
The Judginian blast.
do you think he was taking signs?
Maybe.
You think so?
Yeah.
You're on the maybe train.
Well, because what was he looking at?
So he claims that he was looking like trying to figure out who was chirping, right?
Uh-huh,
That was his excuse. But here I want to challenge. Let's challenge everybody to do this. Shane, you can participate too.
Oh God.
No glasses, DB. No glasses.
I can't see, man.
Exactly. This is the whole point of this.
Wow. That's
I don't know if
tough.
Judge needs glasses, but I want you to side eye for me. Just look to the right. Keep your head straight.
Okay.
And side eye.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I'm gonna hold up a number. I want you to tell me what number I'm holding up.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
2.
It is 3.
Okay. Can't see.
Exactly. That's Aaron Judge. He couldn't see. His head was straight.
What if?
What are you looking at?
So, but I didn't move my eyes. Like I didn't try to do this.
Well, that's what I asked. I said, yeah. Look to your right. Do you think you can? All right. You got it down.
My head has to stay here.
Your head. It's got to keep straight. Go.
Okay. 2.
Oh, nice work.
Yeah.
Nice work.
I could kind of. It's kind of guessing.
So, what are you looking for? A
So-
flashing light, a color?
I
And
know.
if you are looking for those two things, Toronto, wouldn't you be able to see that too?
Hey, so you've seen this lately, the last handful of years in baseball. How late are some of these catchers setting up?
Oh, really late.
Really late.
Really late. Because they want to try to throw you off. Like
Yeah.
sometimes you'll see them on the outside corner and then they'll bounce to the inside.
It's like, come on. But I mean, they've been stealing signs in baseball since baseball started.
Right.
Right. That's just kind of one of the.
It's part of the strategy, I guess.
I don't know. I guess it's
And also, you're up 6-0. Why is he stealing signs?
because he was adding insult to injury. That's what he was doing. I mean, they're the only real good team. They're the only team. I mean, last week I was joking about Boone getting fired, and then they win 7 out of the next 10. What are we talking about? You did see that the Mariners are over 500 now, and the Rangers are atop the division. So I'm giving myself a chance.
You do have a good shot now.
So did I see last night how many 2-run homers did the Braves hit? It was quite a few.
So Acuna got one. Arcia got one. Riley got one.
Dude, I think they hit 5 or 6 2-run homers. 5. It was something like that, man.
Well, how about having 10 hits and not scoring a run, a.k.a. the Texas Rangers?
Yeah.
Okay.
They got drubbed.
Oh, Ozuna had one.
Yeah, seriously. It was
Ozuna,
wild.
PR.
Hey, don't look
Nice
now.
job. Nice job. 5.
Don't look now. Who's second in the NL West?
Dodgers. Padres.
Incorrect.
Diamondbacks.
Correct. The team I told you I
Mhm.
felt like was going to be good and well over their win total. Now, I don't know if they can keep it up, and maybe at some point the Hispanic Titanic will join the fray. He got hurt early, but he hit a couple of bombs in the last couple of days because he rakes coming out. Was that 2022? Because he was a second round draft pick, I think. He was like in the 40s or 50s.
Was he a second rounder?
He
was either second or third.
Okay, look it up. Because I'm not. I think.
Man, could you give me the right number too?
I'm gonna say second round, 40th pick. Ivan
Yep, I got
Melendez, Hispanic Titanic. Anyway, they're going to get
say it again. Go ahead.
Second round, 40th pick.
Your 43rd pick.
Okay.
Second round.
Because
nice work.
I always wonder what happens to kind of one-dimensional guys. Because I'm just not sure what he's going to do defensively. Right? Kind of like how I feel about Max Anderson and Bryce Matthews.
Right.
But I guess, what do they say? Half stick will travel.
Great point.
Right.
Yeah, you can play DH.
Especially now that both leagues have it, which I hate, but I guess, I don't have to watch Kershaw flail anymore at the plate or Madison Bumgarner give guys the side eye after he leaves the building and looks at you reckless. That guy can barely throw strikes now, but no, I kid because I care. But they're the only two teams in the West with winning records.
That's bizarre.
It's wild.
That's bizarre.
Because they were the first division to have everybody to have 15 wins. And everybody had 15 wins.
They were before the AL East?
No, in the NL,
okay.
in the NL. And those are the odds.
Side note, plus 230 for the Canes, plus 250 for the Knights, Stars at plus 3, and
dude,
Panthers
that is snug. That's pretty tight.
I would have kept it a little higher for the Canes. 230, maybe 195.
Those are some golf odds, the disparity between the top 4 or 5.
Yep.
In hockey, that's pretty good. Because, golf, you'll be like 6-1, and then you'll see like 4 guys between 6-1 and 8-1. That's
especially when you lead off, you'll see Scheffler at like plus 800 to open.
That is really snug.
Everybody is within 800 to 1400.
Where are they this year? Is it Blackhawk?
Guys.
Where's the PGA? Shane, where's the PGA this year? It's in New York, right?
And that's totally on me.
You know what we can do?
I think it's in New York, but it seems to have snuck up on us. But it's as has the old Preakness too. So whatever.
Nice, New York.
Yeah.
Good on you.
I think I knew that.
You retain information
I know.
like nobody else I know.
I don't have any idea. I just, whatever. Let's not talk about that.
What if I told you I retain information better than anybody else you've ever met?
So I
haven't
haven't
the bar.
I haven't watched my show. I haven't watched
Have you seen
Unforgettable.
Suits?
Nope. I haven't watched Unforgettable in probably 5 days. But I did. This is Caleb and I, because he felt miserable on Saturday. We binged Jack Reacher. Watched season 1.
Is that big dude?
Yeah. And then last night.
That's weird. Those clips popped up on my timeline.
That's the only
yesterday.
reason I swear to goodness.
Were you talking about that after the show?
I don't know, maybe. But that's the only reason I watched it. The only reason.
Because it popped up on your timeline?
Yep.
I've never clicked on a Jack Reacher link ever.
So and last night there was on
my feed.
On TNT or one of the channels late, the regular one with Tom Cruise was on. So I watched the first one. Not Never Go Back, but the first one.
The regular. So this was a spinoff then?
No, so the season was from the movie. So Tom Cruise
Got
has
it.
2
Okay.
Jack Reacher movies,
Okay.
which I never watched until the last month, maybe. And I saw the second one first, the Never Go Back one. And so then we watched the series together, like pretty much all Saturday.
The movies are pretty good.
They were fine. I mean, it ended up in like, they were in some, I felt like I was watching that movie with Ben Affleck where he was the accountant, because they ended up in some quarry. Aren't those things with the rock, Shane, and you kind of go down in the ground and they're like the semi-trailers? I felt like I was watching The Accountant again.
Why is, and this may be just because by coincidence, but why?
Do I sound congested to you? I don't
think so.
I don't feel
Why is every action show, at least like the star, like a male star of the show named Jack?
I don't know.
So like you said, Jack Reacher. Like on Amazon, it's been telling me to watch Jack Ryan, who is
the FBI guy.
Yes, and it's the guy in The Office.
Yeah. Do you know for 2 years I thought that was the same thing?
Why can't I think of his name?
The Jack Reacher, Jack Ryan.
And then there's 24. Isn't that guy named Jack?
That's Jack Bauer.
Why is every
Shane,
action
is
guy named
24
Jack?
having a reboot, or what's Kiefer Sutherland doing now? Something. Oh, it's a Rabbit Hole. Kind of, it sounds like the same premise to 24, except it just doesn't happen in a day.
2023.
Yeah, I'm constantly looking for things. I see what's happening is, since I go through these serious bouts of depression, I just watch television late at night. Like I haven't been out at all.
Yeah, you always tell me, man, I was up at 1. Couldn't
So I
sleep.
just
probably because you let your dog sleep between your legs.
Dude, I do, man. Come on, Biggie. Like, figure it. And I feel bad, right? Like,
bad making
you
him
need to
sleep on the ground.
Yeah, you need a friend, and so it's like you don't want him to just like.
Would you ever be the guy? Because they're small dogs, like
Very.
Frenchies, right?
Yeah, very.
Would you ever bring him up closer to your like chest and like let him like lay to the side of you?
Yeah,
on your pillow.
I could do whatever. I know that's not cool.
I feel like that's the move.
Some of my friends that look like me frown upon that. Like. That's supposed to be something that you guys do.
That have facial hair?
Yes. But I don't
haircut.
But I don't care. You know what I mean? I don't. It's whatever. I love my dogs. And Biggie's missing like 4 bottom teeth. He's moving around really slow. He's not even that old. He's only 7.
What is the
10? Okay, but let's not talk about it.
Well, I didn't finish my thought.
Life expectancy.
I was going to ask you, what is the square root of 12?
Doesn't have one.
Exactly.
Not that ends without a decimal point.
So thanks for bringing up a sad thought when I was going to ask you about square roots.
It'd be like 3.64166 or something like that.
I'm going to type it in online.
No, don't do it. Don't do it, man. So, were you surprised?
What did you say the square root was?
I can't even remember. I think
you said 3.6. I said 3.4.
Yeah. Well, you know.
Well, if you round up, 3.5.
Give or take 100. So it was such a light night for sports, unless you're watching high school soccer, which I did. And then I turned it, because I wanted to watch Release the Kraken and the Dallas Stars. And you know what's really funny? I'm kicking myself because a month and a half ago, whenever the NHL playoffs started, before they started, you asked me about the Big Five.
Mm-hmm.
I took the field.
Yep.
But who was the one team that I said, wait a minute, such and such isn't in the Big Five? And we're like, I just don't know if they'll be able to score enough.
Was that Dallas?
It was Dallas. And they're in the finals.
Yep. And so is Vegas.
The conference.
So is Florida.
And the conference
You have
finals.
3. I have 1.
I just was like, and I asked about him because I felt like that. And I think me, you, and Adam were going back and forth on DMs about Dallas.
Yep.
Like right after that. And I still took Edmonton. But I didn't trust Dallas either.
Yeah. Adam and I went back and forth on Stuart Skinner last night a little bit.
Yeah, you guys, I knew once he got into soft defenseman, you were going to jump at it. Because you're quick to not just blame a goalie.
Mm-hmm.
right? You're always, well, what's in front of them?
Yeah. And so, like, I was for it. Like, they didn't have a good decor. But you still got to be a good goalie and stop the puck.
I understand.
Like, you can't have a save percentage of under 9 and a goals against average of 3.5.
We need a life.
Yeah.
But at least you have hobbies.
Yeah, I did go to Topgolf yesterday.
Yeah.
Again, did not perform well. Also, I'm always in last for my team. Always. I feel so bad. They're going to kick me off. I'm going to get sent down.
See, I wondered if I would like golfing with you. I wondered. You're probably mean-spirited and all.
No, I'm not mean-spirited. I have a great time. I just think they're probably going to send me down.
You're like, yeah,
hey,
you're gonna
figure it out.
You're gonna get designated for assignment.
Andrew, I know you love.
You're going to play with. You're going to play with the Redbirds.
I know you love covering the Pinnacle Bank Championship. That's actually on the Corn Ferry Tour. We are in PGA up at Topgolf.
You love the Corn Ferry Tour.
Go ahead and hop over and play with your boys.
No. So you were at both baseball and soccer?
I went to Warner yesterday at 4 to catch Millard West because I haven't seen him yet this year. Jackson Williams was pitching.
Yeah.
We talked about him.
How'd you feel watching Jackson? I feel like he's
little,
come up
little wild.
Erratic. Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah. That's right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He struggles with command.
Very unpolished.
Throws hard.
But you can see the talent.
Yeah, he throws hard.
And he's fat. You can see the talent.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the more underappreciated, underrated, I think, college prospects.
So is he going to play baseball or football? Do we know?
So, listen, I don't know. I haven't asked Sarah, nor have I asked Jamel. My gut says, gosh, but he grew up. He's always been really good at baseball. My gut says if the right football school came along, he'd play football.
Okay.
But I could be completely wrong. Completely wrong.
Yeah, but he looked like he settled in well against Prep because early on in that game, a little bit like Flaherty, got guys on. Kind of his own fault a little bit.
They probably have they have the most arms.
Right.
But they just have struggled with East.
Well, once he settled in too, it was over. Millard West hits.
Yeah.
They hit.
Nighty night. It's gonna be, and you get Friday day baseball. And it's live if you want to watch television, but go out to the ballpark and enjoy the towel.
Oh, it was fantastic.
Amazing setup.
I love just getting back in that scene, that element.
Yeah. So you know what I like over the last year? Because I remember Shane finally broke down one day and he was like, so, your new partner was asking about you. Like, what do I need to know? Like you were doing some recon before we started working together.
Mm-hmm.
And Shane goes, well, I told him, you better know high school sports because he loves him some high school sports. And I was like, Shane, you scared the kid? Like it's
no.
Well, high school is hard to get into
it
unless you commit to immersing yourself in it.
Oh, come on, Shane.
Because it's not readily available on the internet. Like you have to be.
You have to go there.
Yeah, you have to be at stuff. So I just didn't want to put that kind of pressure on you. But you saw good baseball and you saw good soccer.
Yeah. Well, so. And when we come back, I'll touch a little bit on that Norris-Scott game because credit to Norris, their freshman goalie.
She was fantastic. She was fantastic.
Unbelievable.
How about how they kept going above the neck? I was like, keep the ball on the ground.
Well, so whenever they did keep the ball on the ground, though, they couldn't find the corner.
I know. Just a couple just missed. I think they outshot them 18-5 in regulation.
They did. That's right. Nice remembrance package up there, huh?
Whatever. That's not
good memory. We'll be back.
It's okay.
Rogers and Benning will be back in 4 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 3 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 2 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 1 minute. Rogers and Benning will be back in 30 seconds. Coffee and Cream with Rogers and Benning on Hail Varsity Radio.
1-2. Swinging a high drive. It's right field and pretty deep for Springer. He's going to turn and watch, and it's gone. A home run into the elevated Yankee bullpen and straightaway right. Aaron Judge has gone yard here in the top of the first off Alek Manoah. It is home run number 9, and the Yankees are in front 1-0.
Hey, welcome back. 888-638-4876. If you'd like to get involved at any point, it's Coffee and Cream in the Morning on Hail Varsity Radio, powered by Currency. Damon Benning, Andrew Rogers. Morrison is a loud environment for how open it is.
Yeah, it's a beautiful
Venue.
setup, man. I mean, shout out to my man Brandon McCarville, who heads a lot of the scheduling that happens at Sokol and Morrison. They had to work like crazy to pull it off.
And it's such a nice location, too. You can see a lot of the big buildings downtown.
Yeah, it's what do they, Shane? Why do I always ask Shane? Shane, is that called, what is it when you can see the city? Is it the sight lines?
The skyline?
Skyline, thank you. Like the chili, the terrible
See, sometimes
chili.
I do know some things, not just Shane.
All right, I'm going to stop looking to Shane. Then I'm going to say.
Aaron judge him?
Like my man Jordan said. By the way, he's a Cardinals fan, so I think that's why he appreciates the Cardinal talk. But he loves baseball. But anyway, he said, listen, if the dugout's picking up on something and relaying it to hitters, it's part of baseball. And it absolutely is. You know what I mean?
Oh, I do. It's a great point. Now, going back to high school one last time, and then we'll get to the
not one last time. We'll do it a lot.
Well, yeah, but I know
today, not just we can't do high school all day. I have some other underappreciated gems like Jackson Williams.
We could also talk about the new free throw rule if we really want to.
Yeah, but yeah, but still, Shane, I sounded just like him, didn't I? That's because my voice sucks today. I feel like I have a face full of.
And then again,
So Scott absolutely dominated.
After giving up the early goal.
Absolutely. No, well, that was Gretna.
Oh, yeah, you're talking about Scott. I'm sorry.
Yeah, quickly. Scott, because you said 18-5 is what they outshot.
Yes, indeed.
Norris. The ball was in the attacking end for Scott the entire game. So if they would have lost that game, that would have been how do I put it nicely? A meltdown.
You want the surprising statistic of the day? It seemed like that, right? Like the field was tilted in Scott's direction. Do you know what ball possession?
Yeah, time of possession was a lot closer. It was like 53-47 or something.
That is absolutely 1,000% correct. 53-47 time
which
the ball
blows my mind.
Isn't that something?
Now, time of possession can be skewed because
I get it. Sometimes you see it in hockey too,
right? Like, oh,
people
where
play with the puck in their zone.
Yeah, exactly. Where are you playing?
Yeah.
But it was even both teams. Both teams were a little bit of the clear ball. They appreciated the fact, hey, I'm going to kick it down the field and have my teammate chase after it.
So I just, not to go all soccer talk,
football.
But there just weren't a ton of clear run throughs.
Yeah, that was another big one.
I mean, the marking was pretty tight, and you could just tell that Norris was bound and determined to not let Scott have a lot of open green.
Right. I didn't pay too close of attention to formations, but now that you brought that point up, I almost wonder, was there 4 on the back line?
It looked like a flat back.
Okay.
But, I mean, again, I don't always have all the angles without having been there. But it looked like a flat back.
And then, as you said, you alluded to it, Gretna responded well after giving up that first one, which I think to a lot of people was like, what?
Yeah.
Like you saw that ball go in and you're like, uh-oh.
Well,
uh-oh.
Because they had been so dominant.
Right.
I mean, and how many is that in a row? I know the state titles. What's the win number?
Gosh, isn't it in the high 40s?
It's unbelievable is what it is. I mean, like, again, and shout out to Larry Putney, who was doing the broadcast. He
did a great job.
I like LP. I'm way biased, so like let's not get into fawning over Larry Putney. But just because whatever.
And soccer's hard.
It is because soccer to me would be the equivalent of like doing hockey.
Ooh, hockey's a lot easier.
Oh, no way.
Than soccer?
No way.
Oh, when it comes to filling time, hockey's so much easier.
Yeah, but you have a lot more time in between. The ball is going to roll a lot further, slower than going tape to tape on a puck.
But you can do play-by-play of hockey. You can't do that of soccer.
Well,
like you can't say, X person to this person to this person to this person.
Well,
you
have to let
the dead air talk.
you could say, hey, Meg with the through ball to looking for such and such.
Yeah, you could say, and the through ball attempt up to whatever
such
striver.
And such. I mean, it's
but then you have to wait, right?
No,
but in hockey,
because you have time, is what I'm saying.
But that's why it's hard.
No.
Yeah, that's why it's hard because you don't. A lot of as humans, we want the air to be filled, right?
Yeah,
so
but
in
one
hockey,
of the yes and no to the layperson, yes, but to a broadcaster, you understand the beauty of letting something breathe. It feels uncomfortable.
Yeah, you can lean that way.
I can't stand working with people that feel like
that.
they have. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like
I can vibe with that. Hockey is definitely harder when it comes to how many names you got to know. They change on the fly. Like I'm with you there.
That is.
I am with you with the difficulty of the call.
Yeah,
but I find it to be easier when you're constantly engaged versus
like
what am I going to say now?
Fetisov to
Right.
Fedorov, back to Shanahan to Yzerman for the one-timer. Score!
Yeah, that sounds
it's
awesome.
like, what the?
It sounds awesome.
Like you have to see it in a hurry.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
It's like calling basketball on the radio, though.
Yeah, but there's only 5. And typically they're fairly easy names.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the difference is you don't change on the fly.
Yeah.
He got it.
He got it. Hi, Mr. Tiemann.
I am 100% with you when you say the difficulty of the call.
Yeah. If they send us,
but when it comes to the dead air, I couldn't do it. And I called soccer all the way through college, and it was so difficult because I found myself repeating myself.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You're on the back line. Okay.
Do you know why, though?
Switch.
Do you know why? Because it is the polar opposite of doing news.
Yeah.
The polar opposite.
Because you have to beat time.
Where if there's dead air in the news, you're
you
like,
gotta beat time.
They're like, this dude or gal has no. I can't. My mom hates when I say gal. This lady, whatever, male, female, whatever.
Gal's fine.
She didn't like AR-15. She doesn't like when I say gal. She says, "Guy, it makes you sound so old-fashioned." I'm like, okay, whatever. But anyway,
it's you being you.
It's the polar opposite of I think what you were accustomed to doing, and that's like radio. Because now you
college basketball.
Because now you just get to talk,
right? It was college
without
basketball.
having to script. I'm sure that's a learning curve, right?
Oh,
well, you talked about it that one day.
Huge learning curve for me,
right? So it's like I don't know,
but let me tell you too, my life has been so much easier because I've stopped overworking myself to the point where I'm like, I have to have all this done or it won't be successful.
Yeah, it just I'm so like that's a great thing to learn early. Because sometimes it's just
burnouts are a real thing.
Yeah,
a real thing in this industry.
And show prep, feeling like you have to get everything in can be mind numbing. You know, I remember feeling like we had to get everything in that we were going to talk about for the day before somebody would say you didn't talk about or you didn't get to, and then I just had to learn to like, you know what?
Yeah,
we'll get to it.
Well, so for me, it's not the fact that hey, we didn't get to it and the reaction that we didn't get to it. It was more I did all this prep and we didn't get to it.
Yeah.
So it was a waste of time.
Yeah.
Right?
I had
because I could have just read it. Instead, I took notes on it.
I had a great conversation one time on the fly with Nicholas Allen. Yeah. Because he did a show by himself and he typed quite a bit or wrote out or whatever. And I'm just like, man, I said, there's no way I could do that. And he said, well, without it, I think he used it like as I can't remember.
Without it, there was no way I could do it.
Because by yourself, you sometimes would feel like you were hearing yourself talk if you didn't move on to the next thing.
Right.
But in a 2-man, sometimes the volleying back and forth,
and just bouncing around
is what makes it interesting. So I just one of the things that I could never do a show by myself.
I wouldn't want to either. No amount of money.
He said, "That's not true."
Well, maybe
you're a total mercenary. This dude just with a straight face said, "No amount of money."
No, I guess everybody has their price, right? But if you gave me, a few $100s more here, a few $1,000s more here, I'd still want to do a 2-man show because it's just more fun. I don't want to do it by myself.
If they gave me $1,000,
I told you I can't golf by myself.
If they gave me $1,000 tomorrow morning, I would give you $200 just to stay home.
Sounds great. Sounds great.
Hey, don't come tomorrow.
Right.
I'm gonna pocket this $800. And
let me email Sasha right now. I'm taking a sick day tomorrow. DB needs a raise.
No, just playing.
And send.
Nah, I'm serious.
Lance, we'll get to you next.
Rogers and Benning will be back in 4 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 3 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 2 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 1 minute. Rogers and Benning will be back in 30 seconds. Coffee and Cream with Rogers and Benning on Hail Varsity Radio.
Hey, welcome back. Welcome to all of you that are in our comments, those that call us on the phone, 888-638-4876. We had to postpone Lance because I almost forgot about our next guest, Brandon Vogel, who comes on every Tuesday morning at 7:45. Vogel, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. You look
Trying to make it.
You look like you're dressed up as a children's cartoon.
He looks like he might go play nine.
Green hat, striped shirt.
But it's the Masters.
It's true. I hadn't thought of the shirt does give Blues Clues a little bit. I hadn't thought about that.
Hey, so I gotta ask because you've only done this for a few years. Are there any shows that you find yourself watching just as time spent because of kids? You're like, what am I doing?
The big one so far has been Miss Rachel on YouTube, which is, everything starts out with like, oh, this is kind of good, but when you get into the 500th or 600th viewing, you're like, please, just anything else. But that one's been good. It's been useful.
It's not it doesn't seem like any of the kiddos have been the same. Caleb was into the guy with the glasses. He wears the yellow shirt. Not Stewart. Is it Stewart? It's I can't remember.
Blippi?
He's like what is it?
Is it Blippi?
No, it's kind of older. They all look the same with the big nose. He has he looks like a shrew or a bay or like a whatever. He's wearing
Arthur.
Arthur. Yeah. So Caleb
he's an aardvark.
Caleb, well, something. A shrew, aardvark. Micah was like Little Einstein and Paw Patrol.
Okay.
And Zoe is like the little Spidey Amazing Friends person.
See, another thing Caleb and I can relate on. I watched Arthur too. I had all of the Arthur books.
You guys are both weird. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's cool.
B Vogues, so the question of the last 10, 12 days has been quarterback depth and how uncomfortable folks appear to be after Jeff Sims. Without knowing the conversations with Coach Rule and Casey Thompson, because I believe there were several, do you think there's anything he could have done differently, or is this part of you think what he knew he was getting when he brought Sims in?
I think it's probably what he knew he was getting when he brought Sims in, and I think conversations between Rule and Casey's family seem to have been pretty open in that. I don't think there were any promises on either side. And going into your final year to play, if you're going to be locked in a summer QB battle, I have a hard time blaming Casey Thompson for thinking maybe there's something a little more certain for me. So that's the way that went. In terms of the quarterback depth, it's gotten interesting at Nebraska in a hurry. I still feel okay about it. I think, Chubba Purdy, if you had to go that way, has at least been in college football for a long time. He gives you some steadiness, I think. Then you have Harburg, which might be a little bit high ceiling, lower floor, but I mean, those are your basically your two options at this point. If Sims isn't able to go,
2024 quarterback a must now.
Yeah.
I think they'd like to get one. It's just tough to kind of look at it. You don't end up taking one in 2023. It's pretty hard to go two classes, I think, without signing a high school quarterback. For the immediate future, Kamari McClellan is scheduled to come in June, 3-star quarterback from Alabama. That's probably the path of least resistance, but I think the benefit to Nebraska is to be extremely patient on this. I think 15 of the top 20 quarterbacks in the country are already committed, 9 out of the top 10. And that's just how quarterback recruiting goes. It happens early. So be slow. We know there's some names out there of connections they've got to Kalen at Missouri. And
wouldn't that be something?
I mean, that's why I think all of the benefit is to wait, because you don't know what's going to happen in season in terms of coaching changes or anything like that. So there's going to be a rush with Raiola on his way to Georgia to be like, well, you got to find your quarterback now in a hurry. I think you're better off being slow. And if you don't get anything, then to the portal you go in December.
And I do think, guys, there's a facet of their offense we haven't seen yet, because I guarantee you they're going to have some sort of two-back option game component, right? You're not craving a fullback as just a lead blocker, right? You want some. There's got to be some option package somewhere coming up this season that I think. I think the Purdy or Harburg strengths.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I know people have kind of kicked it around. Like, how much better would it make you feel if Logan Smothers all of a sudden, took his name out of the portal? I don't know if that's anything he's even considering, but he could.
I just don't think you spend all that time watching old game tape if you're not looking to run some sort of trap and veer, like old school, right?
Right? Yeah, I mean, like it was nice to hear Rule say he was doing that, and maybe the assumption was like that was just kind of a nice nostalgia trip, but like coaches don't have time for that. You got to get something out of that. So that's a good point, David. I hadn't thought about that.
So, Vogel, you're good now. You think Nebraska is good with what they have? They don't need a pivot before the start of next season?
I think, they got in on McClellan in recent weeks, so it's clear that I think there's some interest there. And if, he takes a visit and decides Nebraska is the place for him, like I assume that's a committable offer. at this point, and you'd be set. But I think reaching to fill that spot before the season starts for a 2024 quarterback, not talking about transfer portal, would be it's a little too risky for my taste. Now, adding a quarterback from the portal just to add depth this year, maybe. I haven't looked recently to see who's still in there at this point, but a graduate transfer, of course, can come at any point.
Your eye is going to gravitate towards who? I just got this tweet this morning and from a man, Tony, and he's talking about some old tempo offense. Remember, Rule just did the sit down, and he was talking about things that he would have done differently at each of his previous stops. I thought it was interesting. He said at Temple, he started out trying to be multiple and spread folks out. Then he realized the defense was good enough, so he played a little more ball control. Can't remember what he said at Baylor. He'd have done conditioning different or something like that. With Nebraska, who gets the spotlight first? Is it still Tony White in this defense trying to rebuild, or is it Satterfield and Raiola? Who needs to complement the other first? Like, who do you think has a declarative style first?
Good question. I think in terms of what we can point at and say, oh, that's what they're doing, it's probably defense. But I think the relationship you just mentioned might be the opposite. I think they might put the emphasis on, we want to run the football, we want to control the clock, we want to play a very Big Ten brand of football. And Tony White's defense is going to kind of be there, quote unquote, in support of that. That's how I see it going in my mind's eye. But, in a year one scenario, you kind of got to go with which one's working the best and figure out how you need to support that from there.
Vogel, we're talking to Brandon Vogel, managing editor at Hail Varsity, at Brandon L. Vogel on Twitter. Where do you think the most competitive battles will lie when fall camp rolls around?
Probably still in the secondary. I think there's going to be some sorting out to do at linebacker, and you look at some of the players there, some pretty good players that I think, a good player or two is going to end up on the second string, and I don't think that's going to matter much.
Yeah,
they'll still get plenty of snaps. And that's good in terms of depth, but it'll just be a little shocking potentially if a player we've been used to seeing isn't the front line person anymore. So I think you're going to have a lot of that in the back seven defensively. The D line with those young guys too, kind of competing to see who can play right away. And I think a lot of them will. Gets interesting. And then, of course, running back is, Matt Rule continues to say, probably the deepest spot still on the roster, even with losing your second leading rusher last year. So that's going to be interesting. But that's one where I think you'll see probably all of their top three guys pretty frequently if they run the ball the way they want to.
B-Vogue, just about 90 seconds here. You were talking about I was asking which one declares first. I'm thinking about the Big Ten as a whole. Who do you think plays the most complementary football without one side of the ball having a clear advantage over the other?
Minnesota. They are clock control to the extreme. They're a defense that over the years has been kind of just solid, but not a team where you're like, oh, they get a ton of negative plays, and if they don't get those, you're going to beat them. No, I think they're just pretty sound. I think Joe Rossi, their defensive coordinator, has been really good. So Minnesota is the team that kind of just quietly, they're not like a Northwestern or an Iowa where you're just like, oh yeah, defense. They're really going, their defense is like top 2, top 3 in the country. Minnesota just kind of plays both sides in a really complimentary fashion. And when I look at Nebraska, in a lot of ways, I think Minnesota might be a good model for them.
I almost thought you were going to say Illinois, but the more you walk me through it, I wouldn't fight you over that.
Vogel, we appreciate you, man.
Fantastic.
Right. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
We'll talk again next week. That's Brandon Vogel at Brandon L. Vogel on Twitter.
Who do you say?
I was kind of thinking Wisconsin, but I know
another good one.
I know they're probably more offense than defense,
I don't know.
But That's kind of just based off last year.
3 different answers.
We'll be back.
We'll be back in 4 minutes. Rogers and Benning. We'll be back in 3 minutes. Rogers and Benning. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Rogers and Benning. We'll be back in 1 minute. Rogers and Benning. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Coffee and Cream on Hail Varsity Radio with Andrew Rogers and Damon Benning.
Is it already the top of the hour?
Yeah, we're getting to that phase of working with each other where it goes extremely fast.
I mean, sometimes.
And it's not due to shortened time.
Right. Sometimes it's nice, for your work day to get over, right? For those that go to work at 8 and are like, man, I can't wait till 5. But for us, it's like, I only get 3 hours of this every morning.
Yeah. And the weird thing is like, we'll go back and forth throughout the course of the day just to see if there's what the next day's gonna bring.
Mm-hmm.
So you always kind of feel like the thing that I'm glad that you're kind of comfortable with is, and it can be stressful, and I get it. Like, it's not a lot of fun working with me sometimes, but you have to be like I like to talk about just about anything.
Right.
So you kind of feel like you have to canvas the whole. This ding dong may bring this up tomorrow.
you got splatter paint.
It's like, and I get it, man. But it's just, and so I appreciate the versatility, because sometimes, my mind is everywhere. I like women's sports. I like Olympic sports. I like a lot of.
Mm-hmm.
I like a lot of.
Oh,
same.
Same.
So the high school thing, in baseball, we were talking about the setup at Tal Anderson on Friday. Should be pretty cool.
I heard last year, and this was when I was working at UNO, but I wasn't actually present. I think I was back home for something, and I heard that was it Millard West that won last year
through the grapevine. No, it was. Yeah, it's the walk off. Yeah.
Okay.
One of the
best. Was it West South last year?
Yeah.
Was that? I heard that was one of the most attended games.
So from an excitement standpoint and what was at stake, it may be in the top 6 or 7 that I've ever seen. Now, I know some people will say it's higher, but there's a lot. That's
still high on the list.
I go back to the basketball semifinals and 2 years ago with Prep and Bellevue West. I go back to just most recently Class A state championship in football. We played Kearney in state. We had a 2-minute drill, which was more like a minute something, and we didn't throw the ball.
Right.
One late. There's a lot of.
Well, and you grew up here, so you played here and you coached here, so you've had 20 plus
years. Yeah, but I would put that baseball game was an instant classic. And a lot of people, and no disrespect to Gretna Norris, right? Or Scutton Norris,
Mm-hmm.
because that was a fantastic outcome to have it go to PKs, but in game,
right,
it wasn't as riveting as a zero.
As runs getting put on the board.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like where I was just kind of like on the edge of my seat.
If they would have gone to PKs 2-2.
Are you cool with the rules after the 2 10-minute?
In regards to overtime rules?
Then going to PKs?
Yeah, I'm cool with that. Now, overtime is kind of a lost art. Because more times than not, overtime's just filler time. No one scored. Everybody's tired. They just are trying to get to PKs.
Hey, weren't you impressed with the fitness last night, though?
Very much so.
How about neither team breathing hard? Like, I'm looking at a couple of these, just their composure.
Now, did they get a water break?
Well, you get a little break in between both overtimes.
Right, but not even just that, during the halves. Because there was 22 minutes left in the first half, and both teams went to their bench and got water. And I was
I don't know. It was a cool night, but that doesn't. I've been done this long enough to know that doesn't matter. Like a lot of times, your biggest cramping nights are nights where people don't think
where it feels nice,
where people don't think they need water. But it kind of seemed like I didn't want that to come down to PKs, but. I mean, I get it after 2 overtimes.
Norris was playing for PKs.
Well, yeah.
And so they wanted it to go down to PKs.
But you know what? It wasn't like some teams that I would see play. Like if I relate it to hockey, it wasn't like dump and chase where they're afraid to kind of carry the puck because they think they're going to give up quick scores. Like I hate dumping it. I hate dump and chase.
Mm-hmm.
Like. I saw teams do that against Detroit. I saw teams try to do that against New Jersey for a while. And it's just like, golly, don't be afraid to skate with the puck.
Right.
Well, I don't want anything bad to happen. But you
don't want to turn over.
But
and
you slowly started to see Scott ramp up the pressure on the defensive end. So you're like, yeah, they're going to have to kick this up a notch.
Yeah.
So
but I played on teams where dump and chase was the only way to play against that team because you knew that they were the stronger opponent. And
just tactically, they stink you to death.
Yeah, you're playing because what can you control in PKs?
Who did you think was going to be in net in with the PKs.
Yeah, I was a little shocked because we saw some changeover.
Me too.
We saw some changeover, but ultimately, I was okay with Scott's decision.
Yeah. Well,
but going back,
hindsight is
going back to Norris. I mean, I feel for them because I played on, like I said, teams that were dump and chase. Hey, we're playing for the strategic result of what can we control in PKs. Well, we either put the ball in the back of the net or we make the save. Like, we don't have to worry about any sort of defender.
And I think strategically, you're like, I think we have the better goalkeeper.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Right, but at that point, it's about nerves.
Well,
because you have to have 5 different shot takes. You have to have.
Right. Is Tolero their coach?
Yeah.
I mean, he had his. If he
Did
didn't,
you like the Tommy Bahama?
I was gonna say he pulled his inner Andy Reid.
He was so loosey goosey. I mean, he's high fiving, but you knew it wasn't just happy to be there. I think they fully expected to win that match.
Scott?
Yeah.
Or
Norris.
Yeah.
I don't think that was just happy to be there. It was a typical
their
Scott
team,
Norris
their team
battle.
Was pretty big too.
Deep
team.
Yeah.
How big is the town of Norris? Is Norris a town?
I would call it a suburb. It's like to Lincoln. It's to Lincoln what Millard is to Omaha, except not as many people.
Got it.
It's close.
Well, that helps.
Yeah, it's right there. They're going through a good stretch. Some of these communities going through these stretches of kids. We're seeing it in Gretna. We saw it in Bennington. There was a quick run in Plattsmouth, where you just hit the stretch of pockets of kids where it's like Waverly had it. Where it's like, it's like gosh, this is a good group for about the next
Norris
5 or
compiling something special.
Next 5 or 6 years. And I remember Sty told me, because he's from out there, that his kids went to school there. He told me, and this had to be 5-6 years ago, that it was coming. And you know who else was foreshadowing it for their community? Was Wahoo. Bryce Cook told me about Wahoo. He said, hey, there's a chance. Now, his son was young, so maybe 4th or 5th grade, and he's a junior now.
Okay.
And he's like, hey, there's going to be a time where the Vedrals and the Termins don't dominate Wahoo. It's coming. Be patient. I was like, really? I don't see that happening. Like, this Newman is like a monster. But lo and behold, like,
here they are.
Here comes Wahoo Pub. Yeah. So, it's just weird. Kids have kids. People come up.
Oh, is that how it works?
People want to stay together.
Yeah.
It's interesting. That's why I like to see. We saw it at Lincoln East. Like, there's just been some weird stretches where it's like, oh, we gotta maximize these 5 or 6 years. Westside's going through one, right? Like, it's just funny how that was. My man Dan, I want to show you his handle. I didn't know what it meant, and I said it out loud on the air once, and I was like, yeah, I probably shouldn't use that P word. He says Hickman has like 3,000 people, but the school district actually comes into South Lincoln and overlaps with LPS East and Southeast districts. So maybe they get some spillage.
Let's go to line 2 here, Shane, and talk to Cody, because it fits right into our conversation right now, and then we'll get to Michigan Lance. But Cody, what's up? Good morning.
What's going on, guys? As far as
hi, buddy.
He said community thing right now, does anyone top Aurora?
No, another great example. York had a good run. Remember with Adi and Snodgrass and that, like, they had Danielson. Although Danielson's the cousins, one was in Aurora, one family was in Aurora, the other was in York, and I was like, how does that happen?
It's so funny that you say that, because even when I was covering games in Iowa and Northeast Nebraska, similar things would happen where same last names, but like they're just towns over from each other.
And I was a big Ty Danielson guy.
Look at Damon, you would understand that with the same last name. How many Budgetas and drawing a blank now, but Howells, how many same names came up through Howells when they were on their tear?
Correct. Oakland Craig went through it with family members. Yeah, I get it.
And now Oakland Craig may have their best athletes they've ever had come through that school district.
with
Well, JT.
Well, I'm president of the JT Brands fan club.
Mm-hmm.
Any school that comes into town, I'm sending them to OC. Zero question.
Yeah, there might be one person who is ahead of you on JT Brands, and he's laid up right now after having knee surgery yesterday.
No. Sauter needs confirmation from me because he doesn't trust his own judgment. Let me ask you something real quick. How did it go over with Chase going over to Gretna East? Was there a lot of grumble bugs, or did people see that coming?
I'll tell you, I don't think many people knew.
Ooh.
Outside of the soccer community.
Ooh, okay.
So
kind of like a thief in the night. I like it.
Oh, okay.
And
Is that
who
sings that song?
Topic,
yeah.
Shout out to Southwest. That Charlie Court girl, she can come kick at Nebraska if she wants. But
hey, how good an athlete is Kennedy Williams? Amy's daughter.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Oh yeah,
Look at the run the Southwest girls are on.
She looks just like her dad. No disrespect to Amy. She is a spitting image of her daddy. Boy. Anyway, go ahead, Cody.
I'm just talking about Lincoln Southwest, the run that girls' program's on.
Right now. So
softball, basketball, volleyball.
I was talking to Cubic. She was an assistant coach in basketball when they played Miller North. I was watching Maya, and she said they were a little concerned about basketball because they only had 30, I think she said 32 girls in their program because of what's happening with volleyball.
I believe it.
I mean, because they are on a heck of a run. Millard South went through it with a group.
Yeah, the Millard South girls with Haran. I mean, she's still at Creighton. She was a stud, and then trying to think that. Was it Crofton Bloomfield that had played in like 12 straight titles?
Yep.
In girls basketball. I mean, there's some of these runs, and then I know people want to talk about Gretna girls, and obviously state title, 45 straight, the 363 to 19 over 3 years. Scott girls have been in 9 straight title games now.
Yep. See, I referenced Scott girls the other day, and with the runs that Gretna was getting ready to go on. And I just remember I was joking with with Larry because he mentioned a couple of other South Sioux girls basketball. And he mentioned prep swimming because I named like 7 sports and you knew I was going to leave out a couple. I was just going off the top of my head, but there have been some crazy runs of dynasties.
Yeah. And I don't see like the Millard South wrestling dynasty. I don't see that dying down anytime soon.
No, because they got young in a hurry.
Yeah, and then now Scott's back, so it's going to be interesting.
Hey,
you got the West Side girls who they only got stronger in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. Oh yeah. What's the consensus on how long Gretna can stay A? Has there been much talk about that? There has to have been. You don't open a new school without talking class.
Have you been to Gretna lately? There's
much
development going on.
No, but listen,
it's more for numbers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. When you're splitting the schools, are you going to drop because of numbers?
Well, that soccer team splits in half. I agree.
What's going to be interesting is the Gretna High girls will be back next year.
Yeah, they'll be good.
13 juniors. But then it's like, then that following year, East will most likely be A with their numbers because they'll have 4 full classes then. And then that's when all these sophomores and freshmen that are going to East, then you're going to have Gretna East to be right in the mix for Class A.
That's funny. I'm gonna tell Sauter you gave him a little bit of credit. We're hoping he's on the mend. He texted us 36 times yesterday. I didn't need to see the pictures of the knee.
I was texting him last night. Yeah, he didn't need to send the whole MRI photos of inside his knee.
Yeah, he sent them to us too.
One thing he didn't. That I definitely beat him to the punch on was Carson Ronner.
Oh, dude, he's
listen. Another guy like Jackson Williams flying under the radar for Elkhorn South. I am excited, and they're not on our schedule yet, so I can say that unless it's in the playoffs. I'm excited. I'm excited to see Ronner because I think he's a very quiet, nice secret.
It's exciting.
I've been talking about him for a year, right? I'm like, gosh, he's interesting. Like, because I'm one of those people that look at the offense they run too, and sometimes. since they run the ball so well with Ballard, like he didn't get a chance. But once Muller, Swan, and those guys got going, Ronner's a stud.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank on his name, but he's going to be a sophomore quarterback. Millard West started a bunch of the freshmen last year.
You talking about Will?
Quite all right too. Yeah.
Yeah, you may want to look at that transfer roster.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, it's not good. Not. And listen,
eyebrow raise.
It's not good. If you didn't think Coach Peterson liked one particular coach in the Metro before, he definitely doesn't like him now. And I don't even think it was the coach's fault.
Right. Cody, we appreciate it, man.
Thanks, Cody.
Yep, see ya.
Let's go to line 3 and talk to Rick. Shane, line 3. Rick, you're on the show. Good morning.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
What's up, Rick?
What's going on?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good.
How are you, my guy?
How are you, buddy?
Good. Hey, you guys were just talking about dynasties and stuff in Nebraska, and I know track kind of gets overlooked a little bit, but the run that Kearney High boys had in the 90s and the early 2000s was absolutely
14 straight, right, or something like that.
Yeah,
is that good?
And then even when they didn't, they got runner up for like 5 of the other 6 years. It was and they were nationally ranked, and it was just kind of crazy. It's just cool that Nebraska can play on that level in all sports.
Fantastic
Good
call,
Rick.
Rick. Appreciate it. That was guys like Monte Cristo and my man Florida Dave Grant. They're quick to remind me that, and the Dave Gappas of the world, Kearney was dominant.
Hey, Kearney was pretty good, huh?
Hey, we went out there one time in the summer for baseball. They were the Holiday Inn. I'll never forget this. And it was a dogfight every time we played those guys. And Coach Olsen was like,
Did you say they were at the Holiday Inn?
That was their Legion team name.
Oh,
that's
okay.
how. That's
I thought
how
you knew where they stayed.
That's how much I remember playing against them. They were. I guarantee. I know. I 99.9% sure that was right. They were a Ramada Inn. It might have been Ramada Inn.
Okay.
They were either the Holiday or no, I can't remember because I'm drawing. I gotta ask. MC.
Regardless,
I gotta ask MC or Dave, but they legit. I mean, they just had studs.
Mm-hmm. You talk about dominance. Should we go through these Gretna stats real fast and then get to Lance? Because these stats were sent to us from Cody and
via Nick Rubeck,
who put together these stats. So these were the goal stats. How silly these goal stats were for Gretna this year in soccer. The 2023 regular season, 89 goals for, 3 goals against. In the playoffs, 12 goals for, 2 goals against. Wow. Let's date this back 2 more years. 2022 regular season, 107 goals for, 4 goals against. In the state tournament, 11 goals for, 2 goals against. And then how about in 2021? I didn't know you could score this many goals. 137 goals for, 5 goals against, and then 7-3 in the state tourney. That's 363 DB to 19.
Yeah, even I can do that math. That is ridiculous.
That is
how
unbelievable.
How good is Nick Rubeck with the Olympic
Fantastic.
Sports?
Fantastic. All around.
You talking about just as a guy?
Yeah,
he's a stud.
Yeah. He's super fun to talk to.
And he's got great taste in dogs.
I'm assuming he has the same breed as you.
Frenchy guy. he's fantastic.
And let's talk to another fantastic man in Michigan, Lance, who calls us at least once a day. I'm hyping him up. I'm hyping him up. What's up, Lance?
He didn't think he was fantastic yesterday. What's up, buddy?
Hey, what's up, fellas? How y'all doing?
Just trying to make it. Nothing blows up phone lines like high school.
Man, yeah. Speaking of high school, and I'll get on Caleb Benning and his family, and to start with Ja Morant and his family.
Oh my God!
Now Ja Morant had like 5 or 6 instances, right?
Yes.
Out of 2 of those instances, his mother called him to handle confrontation.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I kind of know where you're going with this, but I'm curious to see if you'll say it out loud.
Okay, so we've got now. I want to ask you guys a question.
Go ahead.
How old do you have to be for your brain to be fully developed?
I think you're in your 20s, right?
It's 25.
It's 25 years old. Ja Morant is 23. Caleb Benning is what, like 17, 18, 17?
17.
He's 17 years old, right?
Yeah.
So now you have to be led. People want to be led, but the leader has to be leading in the right direction.
Have you not seen it? Have you not seen his dad?
Right, exactly. But listen, I talked about his mom too. See, we always want to go to one side. You're going down my alley. People have two parents.
Wow.
It's not one. Mom called to handle a fight at Foot Locker and at a high school game. She called his son, who's in the NBA, to fight. Like, and then his dad is cool, breeze. I look like Usher, so I'm a rap star. So, and his brain isn't already fully developed, and we expect him to make sound, good decisions.
Well, it's not so much the fully developed brain; it's the nature versus nurture. Show me your friends, I'll show you your future. I get it with how you're reared in your household. I get it, I do. But at some point, like, when's bottom enough?
You know, when you start making it sound decisions after 25, your best decisions have been after 30.
Correct.
Be honest.
No, hey, listen, you know me. Like, I was awful in my 20s.
And that's the majority. But so now, because we see somebody on TV, no. And the same thing with Caleb, right? Like, we're supposed to let Caleb, and when I say Caleb, I'm actually talking about all recruits, okay? But when we're talking about Caleb, we're just supposed to let him say, okay, hey, man, go do your own thing at 17. These recruiters expect kids to be adults and mature. But guess what? Just because you see Damon Benning or Caleb acts this way and he acts that way, because Caleb has a mom, he has other DNA in him too. It's not just Damon who you hear and see all the time. He didn't get his only athletic ability from dad, even though dad, us as individuals may think, hey, they got the best qualities for me. No, there's another person involved. Sorry, transgender people. Only a man and a woman can make a kid. All right? And guess what they got? DNA from both. So they're not going to act, Caleb isn't going to act the same way as his dad solely. So you need to get in there and recruit and talk to whoever these parents are or guardians and find out about these young kids, eventually young adults. Stop. Man, sometimes you have to be heavy-handed. Not all the time, but all I know is 3 people made great decisions, and they were made for them. Calvin Jones, Martise Ivey, and Damon Benning were told to go to Nebraska by their parents. Their lives turned out better probably than doing on their own.
Lance,
we
appreciate it, man.
I'd probably have been on a bus in single A making $200 a month miserable without my dad.
At least you'd be in single A.
Dude, you know how bad I wanted to go play baseball? He was having none of it.
Everybody. That's a dream for everybody. And plus, if you knew that was your best sport, doesn't shock me. Doesn't shock me that that's what you wanted to do, ultimately. Wouldn't have changed it for the world, though, right?
There's a lot in that call.
We'll be back.
Rogers and Benning will be back in 5 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 4 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 3 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 2 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 1 minute. Rogers and Benning will be back in 30 seconds. Coffee and Cream with Rogers and Benning on Hail Varsity Radio.
Hey, welcome back. Coffee and Cream in the morning on Hail Varsity Radio, powered by Currency. Damon Benning, Andrew Rogers.
What's up, AR? I think now would be one of those good times, like sometimes you see on the news, thoughts shared by callers and or listeners are not necessarily those of the company. That was one of those that was one of those calls where there was a lot said in a little amount of time. And no matter where you come out on science or beliefs in terms of procreation, those are opinions. I mean, because we also talked about the role of, and he didn't get into it, but he's talking about the stereotypical, he's from a single parent household, and it was his mom. So you hear the passion of wanting to make sure that people are recognized and it being a multi-way street. So don't want to come off as, and I'm not going to apologize for the way I feel personally about anything, and this would be along those lines because we didn't express our views.
Mm-hmm.
We let somebody express theirs. So
and we appreciate the calls on the show. We appreciate the fact that people chime in with different points and things like that.
I mean, because I think it's at some point we're very sensitive to lifestyle choices, ethnicity, gender. But the thing about it is, and this is just totally off the cuff speaking from my heart. There are times where we'll make references or I'll talk about deep-seated issues that are cultural specific, and I'm not upset by that or bothered by it. I try to listen and respond, right? We know that culturally, we talked about it with Rashad Phillips yesterday, and how Ja Morant was raised, and we get into nature versus nurture with urban settings and socioeconomics. And sometimes people want to say black, they just don't, right? We want to say poor people, and sometimes we say black, right? We deal with those kinds of nuances and overt references all the time. All the time. People say things without actually saying them, and I understand that where people's hearts are coming from. And I don't chastise folks for that either. So, I mean, I want people to be cognizant of separating fact from opinion versus what is allowed to be said versus what was actually said. If that makes any sense, right? Because I mean, because what I was waiting for, I mean, obviously the transgender comment will get a lot of the run, but let's not bypass the fact that when you talk about 2-parent households versus 1-parent households, there will be plenty of single parent-led folks that will take umbrage or to task with what was said. I think we have to establish what best practices have been, what historically what has happened versus isolated incidents. Like generalities are typically never a good thing, but I do believe having an open mind to thought is, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. It's a good point. I appreciate you addressing.
He's testing my aptitude and the ability to work on the fly.
Me?
I'm only human, people. I didn't wake up with this.
What's that song? I'm only human after all.
I like the other one. Like, what's the slow one? I'm only human. No, I'm gonna blow it, and I'm not singing because numbnuts over there. He'll cut it up, and I'll have to.
Here we go. It's gonna come.
No.
Just wait for it.
Was it by the Human League?
Here it comes.
Or was
that
it
is so bad.
But I mean, wasn't I only human after by the Human League?
Was it?
I think so.
I'm only human after all. I don't know who sings that song. It's
I
not
know
like
Blue.
you can. It's
I
not
think
like
it's
you
the
can
Human
type it in and sing the dial. By the way, has the FCC called, or are we good?
I'm only human after all.
It's not the Human League. They stopped singing in the 90s.
Rag and Bone Man?
Yeah, Shane, the Human League hasn't done anything since we were growing up.
Who the heck is Rag and Bone Man?
Who?
I have never heard of that man.
Raggin? Like when
RAGNBONE.
Is there an apostrophe in there?
Yeah, there's 2.
There is.
Yeah, I have no idea. I have absolutely
His first hit single, Human, was released in 2016. And he's from the UK.
The UK?
The UK? No, the UK.
The UK? Wow. All righty.
We have the Sports Six-Pack coming later on in the show. We are also chatting it up with Kevin Allen in the upcoming segment. We'll talk a little NHL playoff hockey as the Western and Eastern Conference Finals are set. And then we'll talk to Joel Lorenzi also at 9 o'clock.
That's Dan's gift to me.
There it is. There it is.
Oh, man. Whew.
Hey, can we talk about Big Ten?
Apparently, we can talk about anything. What would you like to talk about?
Can we talk about how Big Ten officials and ADs are meeting today? Well, they met yesterday and today, and they're still talking about the potential scheduling format.
Do you know why I'm happy about that? Because 2 years ago, when SC, or however long ago, when SC and UCLA came, before in my former life, I said Washington and Oregon will join the Big Ten. So I don't care how long they talk about it. I just want to be right. because I was staunch. Like, I didn't waver.
Right.
Like, I was just like, Oregon and Washington are coming. I DM people. I told people, like, I'm on record. So I need that to happen. I need that to happen. But listen, you know where we're moving. We're moving towards super conferences.
And we've always been moving to a Power 2. Yeah, it'll be the SEC.
I think 3. I think 3.
Oh, really? What do you think will survive?
The Big 12.
Maybe for basketball.
Dude,
Yeah.
Look at the Big 12 conference football teams. That's a good conference.
Well, who do you have left? I mean, once people do move. Though.
Listen, hot
like they'll
take.
have K-State.
You want a hot take?
Go for it.
Big 12 is going to get they'll have a player in the playoffs, and it will be somebody that you don't think. Texas Tech has as good as that McGuire-led Texas Tech team. The Big 12 is in okay shape. They added the teams from the 8. Like, they'll be okay.
But can they survive? Like, will they expand
they'll get
to be a Power 3?
They'll get a television deal. And the Cals and those teams have to go somewhere without being in one of the mountain conferences or Big Sky.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think 3.
Would they be the ugly stepsister, though, to the SEC and the Big 10, the Big 12?
Listen, so I think once the revenue gets figured out from the television deals, yes. I think they will pull a Gloria Gaynor. First I was afraid. I merged the conference. I got a couple teams after OU and Texas left. I can't sing worth a darn. I don't know why I tried.
So they won't survive like your music career.
Because Michigan Lance makes me cry inside. Walk out the door. Anyway.
Don't turn around now. You're not welcome anymore.
I'm only one call away.
We went from
I'll be there to
we went straight to Charlie Booth.
Your day. Superman got all right, let me stop. These people are like, this dude is an idiot. Yes, I know, but I'm fun to be around. And I have to, this job forces me to think very quickly at a high level on my feet. You just never know. Just never know. Just never know.
I'm not looking at you. I'm Aaron judging you right now.
Hey, you're not side-eyeing me? Shane, are you going to be okay? You seem very hurt right now.
No, I'm not going to be
Shane,
okay.
Shane over
It's
there
the
is
human
silent.
league.
I don't know.
What are you talking about, the human league?
I'm only human. It's the human league.
What? Like Flame On? Like the Human Torch?
No, not like the Bengals. The Eternal Flame.
Oh, that's a reach, but a good one. You peaked yesterday. Like, I wouldn't say anything the rest of the week. You peaked yesterday with Eric Dickerson.
That was funny. That was funny.
That was
very clever.
That was your 5'1" moment of the week. You know what I mean? That's it.
Oh man.
Hey, I'm only human.
Stop.
Goodbye.
Do you know what I mean? Like, what are we really doing?
We're changing gears. We're talking to a couple of guests over the next 2 segments. First up, Kevin Allen here on Coffee and Cream.
Rogers and Benning will be back in 4 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 3 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 2 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 1 minute. Rogers and Benning will be back in 30 seconds. Coffee and Cream on Hail Varsity Radio with Andrew Rogers and Damon Benning.
Petrangelo left. Marchessault shoots. He scores! It's a hat trick for Marchessault. The Knights have a 4-2 lead with 1:24 to go in the second period. It's the second playoff hat trick for Jonathan Marchessault.
Gudas will lead the charge now, 3-on-2 for the Panthers. Here's Cousins over the offensive line. Left circle. Cousins, front of the net. Shot. He scores! Nick Cousins ends the game, ends the series. 3-2 in overtime. The Panthers win it.
And we're back. Coffee and Cream in the morning on Hail Varsity Radio, powered by Currency. Damon Benning, Andrew Rogers. We are live from the H&H Chevrolet stage at Hail Varsity Club. And we're talking hockey this time. And since DB is all in on his singing today, maybe maybe he can go deeper for me and get into his impersonations. And I want you to give me your best Home Alone Kevin so we can welcome Kevin Allen on. Can you do that for me?
No.
Come on, please.
Well, it depends on what terminal he's taking and why his family left.
Please?
No,
Please?
no.
You're on the plane. You're
Oh my
trying
God,
to relax.
he's like, oh my God, Kevin.
There. Kevin. That's who we're talking to. Kevin Allen joining the show now. Kevin, good morning.
Never a dull moment.
Yeah. This can't take me anywhere. But at least I know you're mature enough to take care of yourself. So, like, you would have taken care of those robbers, no problem.
Absolutely.
A couple of slap shots to the ear hole, you're good.
Yeah, that'd have been great.
Hey, what's this?
I didn't know we were talking to Macaulay Culkin.
Kevin, I was looking at the odds this morning. From favorite to least favored, plus 220 to plus 330. That's something you'd see at the top of golf for an event. That is pretty snug, 1 through 4. Regardless of how star-studded it is or isn't, it's pretty balanced.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, this has always been the case with hockey, especially since the salary cap was introduced and parity became the buzzword, but not like this. We've always had the difference between number 1 and number 16, the lowest qualifier for the playoffs, really isn't that significant. But this playoff, it's really been a coin flip every series, and I just think that does speak to the fact that the talent, over the last 2005 and the introduction of the salary cap, it's just been spread around to the point where, you he has some pretty competitive, playoff series. And, anyone, if you get an invitation to the party, you get a chance to, to win it all. And I think that's the way teams go into it. And I think every team that's in this thinks to themselves, we can win it all. I mean, the competition isn't so stiff that we can't compete.
Kevin, Carolina with the plus 220 odds, the favorite, projected to possibly get Teravainen back. Does that help their odds? Do you think that would swing them as even more of a favorite, or is that just a nice piece to get back and they still kind of rest in that 220, 230 mark for you?
Yeah, to me, that's just in the category of, they're glad to have him back, and that certainly makes them a little bit stronger, but it doesn't change their weaknesses. And, when you look around, everybody's got something. The Florida Panthers, I believe, have goaltending, and Bobrovsky, who's playing more like the two Vezina Trophy winner Bobrovsky, as opposed to the guy who's kind of struggled since he signed the big contract in Florida. He's been really good. And, of course, they got Matthew Tkachuk, who's probably the best flag carrier in the postseason. He's a guy that can get everybody rallied behind him, get everybody moving in the right direction. Like Barkov is still the captain of that team, but Tkachuk is kind of the leader now, especially in the postseason. Well, Carolina has the best defense of all the four teams. And, their off-season acquisition of Brent Burns has really kind of altered that defense. It was already exceptional because Jacob Slavin was one of the better defensive-minded defensemen in the game. But now they've got a beast now on defense, and Burns, just adds a different layer to him. And plus, he's got the big shot from the point. And then their offense is good enough, not great, but good enough. The loss of Max Pacioretty, it was a tough loss for them, as was Svechnikov. But their Achilles heel, in my opinion, is the goaltending. It's a little unsettled. What's going to happen there? They've, used a couple of goaltenders. Freddie Anderson now, is he the guy? We'll see. So I think that's their Achilles heel, and that doesn't change just because Teravainen comes back. So I like Florida in this series just because of all the four teams. I think the Panthers have been the most impressive in terms of their ability to have whatever it is that you need to win in the postseason. I've seen it with Florida most nights.
So, Kevin, let me ask you something. We talk about trusting netminders, and I'm kind of scrolling through the fearsome foursome, the remaining four. If trust is a word we're going with, do you start with Ottinger? It seems weird to say out loud.
Yeah. Oh, for sure you do. I mean, really, and I know he's a young goalie, but that's really been his hallmark, is he's pretty consistent. He has had, a poor game or two, surprisingly, in my opinion, for the Stars during the postseason. But you look at his record coming back from losses, even during the regular season. I don't have it exact in my head, but it's something like 22-1-2 when he has a loss, and then his next game after that. He gets fired up after he plays what he considers a poor game, and by that it usually means he lost. And he's really consistent, and the Stars do have a lot of trust in him, and probably more so than any other, because this is sort of new with Bobrovsky. I think everybody on the Panthers understands that he's got a resume that says he has been unbelievable at times during his career, but they haven't seen much of that. But suddenly in the playoffs, he's been a different goalie, and he's been that guy. So I think they probably now see him as trustworthy. But in my mind, they're the two teams with the most proven goaltending.
Now, you look at the West, you look at the East. Obviously, Carolina being the favorite coming out of the East, but even in the West, we talk about good goaltending, and on the nights, I don't know what to think anymore, because
they're winners. That's
they win games, but I still don't know what to think, Kevin. Are they a team that can score enough? Are they a team that can stop the puck? They're on their sixth goaltender now, and I don't even know who their leading scorer is anymore. I mean, how do you make light of the Knights?
Yeah, it's really hard. I mean, I'm going to turn back the clock, and with the Golden Knights, that means 6 years. That's as far as they go back.
Yeah.
But anyway, but go back to 6 years ago when they got to the final, and they got to the final because they were, and it's a cliche, but it was true. They were a good team. Like, they worked hard together. They played for one another. They supported one another when somebody made a mistake, someone picked them up, that sort of thing. I see that with this team now. There's still a handful of guys, led by Marchessault, who had a national hat trick the other day, and Carlson is another guy, Theodore. I mean, there are a handful of guys left from that original team. And I see that sort of attitude here. And then the X factor that they've added, actually 2 X factors, but the one that I want to talk about a little bit is Jack Eichel.
Oh,
I mean, Jack Eichel has had a really good playoff. And, the difference, you look at, say, Draisaitl, and you look at Connor McDavid, who are 2 unbelievable players, top 5 players in the league. In that series, yeah, they got their goals, but they got them on the power play. You look at Jack Eichel's points, he's playing exceptional hockey 5-on-5. And to me, that decides playoff series. Because the deeper you go, we all know this. I mean, refs, hate when you say things like this, but the whistle gets put away as we go deeper. And it's hard to get the penalty calls. They don't like to give teams advantages. I mean, subconsciously, they don't like to. And so it really matters if you're a good 5-on-5 player. And Jack Eichel is a very good 5-on-5 player, and he has been in this postseason. And I think that's what's going to help them.
Kevin, more likely to happen because you mentioned the aforementioned a guy like Austin Matthews. What's more likely to happen? Dubas comes back with his contract up, or they bring that scoring quartet back and run it back with the Leafs.
Yeah, your hockey, because that's the question in Toronto. I'm going to say Dubas comes back. I think the Maple Leafs understand that if he was out of work, he'd be only out of work minutes because he's highly respected around the league. Like, he's a young guy. He's got new ideas. The Maple Leafs haven't won. But I think people around the league see beyond that, and they see that he's pushing the right levers.
Mm-hmm.
But that core group that you mentioned just hasn't been able to get it done. And I think because of that, like, Nylander probably will be dealt this off season because they're going to have to do something that says, hey, we recognize that, and we've got to, if on his next contract, he's going to want $9-10 million as well, and I don't think they're going to want to do that. So they'll trade him now, which could improve their defense. I think they got to get a goalie too. I don't think they served themselves well last summer when they decided that Matt Murray and Samsonov were the answer. I just didn't think that was the right move.
Just weird for Matthews. He's 4-time 40-goal scorer, and they can't get over the hump. He seems to always come out unscathed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that's right. Although I think he's going to be the highest paid player when they're done with this in Toronto.
Kevin, we really appreciate your time this morning. Thanks so much. We will talk again here soon down the line because, your insight's just incredible.
Well, you know where to find me. I'm always happy to come on.
I appreciate it, Kevin. Thank you.
See you later. Sports Six Pack up next.
Rogers and Benning will be back in 4 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 3 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 2 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 1 minute. Rogers and Benning will be back in 30 seconds. Coffee and Cream with Rogers and Benning on Hail Varsity Radio. Time now for the Sports Six-Pack on Coffee and Cream with Andrew Rogers and Damon Benning. Presented by Zipline Brewing Company, makers of Dear Old Nebraska Brew, the official beer of Nebraska alumni.
I need a something. I'm missing some. Gosh, my mouth feels a little dry.
We got off to such,
maybe I need a zip line.
We got off to such an easy-going start. Then I feel like, shoot, even I would drink a zip line right now.
Want a shotgun? Let's just shotgun.
That's when we put the key in the bottom, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I'd do that.
Let's just go do that now. Shane, give us like 2 minutes. Let's go get some. Let's go get some zip line beer. We'll be back.
Hey, listen, don't tempt me.
And you can get zip line here at Hail Varsity Club, but you can also find it somewhere else in town. Maybe the downtown Omaha Tap Room, which is across from Charles Schwab, a block from CHI. It's right by Slowdown and Film Streams.
Slow down.
It's designed to quench your thirst for action. You know why, DB? Because it's right by the ballpark. Yeah. So especially during the College World Series, that's where you should be, the downtown Omaha Tap Room.
If you do live local radio, you may need a zip line. And I don't mean to do the whole bungee cord thing.
Yeah. Why is my coffee cup actually fizzing right now? Oh, there's zip line in there. Dear Old Nebraska Brew. Shane, you have our questions. Let her rip.
Question
Superstar.
What do you think is the most important quality for a Nebraska football player to have?
What the world?
Important quality? Listening. Active listening.
What kind of? That's pretty general.
I'm going to go active listening.
So it's an attribute?
Mm-hmm.
I like the question.
You know what?
Because it's pretty easy compared to the rest.
Did you hear Shay?
Yeah, he goes, I like it because there's no big words.
Shane, I told you peaked yesterday, man. Everything else is downhill. Oh, I knew I didn't feel good this morning. I'm going, if I could give you just one attribute and be general, I'm going with competitiveness.
That's a good one too.
You have to be competitive, or you can't function with this staff.
Yeah, I'm gonna say active listening because you have to be able to take and give with this staff.
Yeah.
And you really have to have your ears open and your head on a swivel, because if you don't, you'll get left behind.
Yeah, that includes the staff too.
Mm-hmm. Good point.
Question number 2.
Well, were you shotgunning over there and you took your time?
I'm just relaxed today.
That's at least one of us.
What's the most interesting sports fact you know?
The most interesting sports fact. So,
like I said, easy
pitcher,
one.
Hall of Fame pitcher.
That's a great hat that Darvin Ham has on.
Stop it. He's looking at a Dodgers hat for those that don't know. Hall of Fame pitcher Gaylord Perry once said that they will put a man on the moon before he hits a home run.
Pardon?
And I believe it was Neil Armstrong stepped foot on the moon. 6 hours later, he hit a home run. Fun fact.
I don't know. I need Micah for this one. I don't know. I did just tell Andrew over the break that Peter DeBoer is 7-0 in Game 7.
That is an interesting fact. Definitely an interesting one.
We argued about who was the best coach left in the playoffs. I went with DeBoer. You went with
Brindamore.
Mr. Brindamore.
Now, see, little biased, former Blue.
No, I understand. I get it. I still can't believe they're only minus 130 as a series fave over Florida. I mean, most people think they're playing the best hockey. And minus, that's just a slight fave, in my opinion.
Are they expecting close games, like low-scoring games? Because that's how Florida wins, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, fun facts, I usually spew out something weird every day, so I don't know. I just keep them stored in Rolodex. I'm not Channel 3 Sean or anybody. Wait till you get him going. He'll say something like, "Yeah, I remember in 1978 when Nebraska," and then it's like,
what?
You just
had that in the
well,
in your back pocket.
Yeah, during the 1984 season when Mo Iba was what?
Yeah, I know Barry Bonds too. I believe he's the only player in Major League Baseball history to have 500 bombs and 500 steals.
Yeah,
and he's also the only one in the 400 club.
Yeah. I do know, fun fact, Matt Kemp was the only guy to go on a yachting trip with Rihanna, and the next game in the series let a fly ball hit him in his head.
Man, that must be – so did Darius Geis have the Matt Kemp woes?
Hashtag too soon. We don't talk about that guy on this show.
Sorry.
Come on, man.
Yeah, we don't talk about LSU. That's right.
And they don't either because he doesn't exist in their history.
Question number 3.
Hashtag too soon.
Hashtag talk soon.
Is Barrett LaBentra the story as simple as see an opportunity, take an opportunity?
Ooh.
Yeah, see, these big words. I can't get these.
Did you not practice? What's the question again? Say that for me slow.
Is the Barrett?
Oh, Liebentritt.
Liebentritt. Yeah.
Oh, my dude.
Look what's in the parentheses there, Shane.
Liebentritt. Hey, fun fact.
Mm-hmm.
Used to coach him.
Oh, no way.
Absolutely. I told his, as God is my witness as I'm sitting here, I told his dad, he was in the 5th or 6th grade. I said, listen, you may not know what you have in him. He's a sensational player.
Man,
low listen, low maintenance, ultra tough, tremendous football IQ. He was playing for the junior Skyhawks. Ask his parents. I would talk to them about their son after every game. And then he moved up because I tried to sneak my kid on the 2-year older team, and they're like, you can't play. You got to go back to just one grade up. But Liebentritt is a stud, and I'm telling you, he not only is he a genius, he's a likable kid, super family. I couldn't be happier for Barrett Liebentritt. I'm telling you right now, weird man crush. Ask Vers. When he said he was going to Scott, I said, listen, man, that dude is unbelievable.
Well, good on you for predicting that.
Sometimes you can just tell.
Being able to see. Okay, what is the line you like to say?
Gosh, there's a lot.
The hear-see line. Come on.
Oh, I see better than I hear.
There it is.
Yeah. He was fantastic.
Now, you missed this point, though. This is how I spelled out Liebentritt for him. Okay, you ready? Lee hyphen BAN hyphen.
I said ban.
TRITT.
And it's Lieben.
So
it's Liebentritt. Because I looked it up on the Notre Dame pronunciation guide.
And you know what? They weren't ecstatic to see him go. It was a little bit of a surprise.
So the question, DB, is the story as simple as see an opportunity, take an opportunity for him? My guess would be yeah. I mean, I don't know what other athlete.
I'll say yes. His parents are ridiculously smart too.
I also just don't know another athlete that wouldn't see the opportunity and take it if they're transferring. But if he's transferring, he obviously sees the opportunity.
He was going to play at both schools, but Nebraska's close to getting to the point, and maybe they'll still do it for having fish in a barrel. But they're going to have a fullback camp.
Mm-hmm.
Just to find
they are.
Now they've got a couple
good rule camp.
They got a couple of good ones on the roster. Liebentritt is the real deal. No hyperbole. No, just because I like the family. I've been on this. He's the real deal. It's as tough as they come. He's unbelievable.
All right, Shane, I'm excited for this next one.
Question number 5.
Which coach on the market will
now
be the
you
best?
missed 4.
I know, I did that on purpose.
Can't read?
No, we don't skip beers here.
All right, hold on.
Question number 4.
I'm serious, man. My stomach is kind of topsy-turvy.
Yeah.
I may
one of those days.
Who does that? Go ahead, Shane.
Is Damon's stomach topsy-turvy?
Stop it. Read the question. Come on.
I told you peaked yesterday.
Okay.
Read it slow. Read it slow.
Why
you got
do
it.
You do this to me?
You got it.
I mean, I know who the guy is, but I've never said his name before.
Oh, this
Read
ought
it
to be
slow.
good. This
will be fantastic radio right here.
Yeah, keep beating around the bush. You're going to have to read it eventually.
Would you rather have the physical attributes of Victor or have the skills of Connor Bedard?
Excuse you?
So it's Bedard and somebody.
It's Wembanyama.
Oh, give me Victor Wembanyama.
Would you rather have the physical attributes of Victor or the skills of Connor?
Give me Victor Wembanyama because he's highly skilled too. So
he is, but we're only talking about the physical attributes here, not the skills of him. Would you rather have just the physical?
Thank you for the clarity. Yeah. I need to understand better. See, that's one of those where I listen to respond as opposed to listening to understand.
Hey, you see better than you hear,
right? I should have listened to understand.
Yeah, but you still may be right.
No, I'll actually take Bedard because I don't want to be 7'5" ever in any circumstance. I won't say any because I don't use extremes. 9 out of 10 times, I don't want to be 7'5". I don't want to have to go to the bathroom. I don't want to have to get old. I don't want to have to ever put on weight. I don't want to.
Going through life as a 7'5"er, that's a good point.
Oh, it almost ruined Lou Alcindor. Then
that it
now
did.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
That it did.
Never was comfortable with his height. At no point will I ever really want to be 7'5". I mean, do you really want to be the guy at Costco where everybody says, "Can you get that for me?" No. They have rolling ladders.
Do you say no, or do you not want to be that guy?
No, I would do it because I'm cool. Even though if I was with my mom, she'd say, "You always have to stop and talk."
I don't know. It might be a little different.
I think this. Go ahead. Sorry, Shane.
Then when somebody drops something, everybody wants me to pick it up for them.
I'm happy I let you go first.
Shane, that's under my car. Can you get that for me?
He's back. He's back. He's been fluctuating. He's like, you're like the heart monitor, man.
Shane, that rolled under the desk. Can you get that for me?
Exactly.
Why you asking me?
Why you always got to ask me?
Because you're halfway there already.
I would probably take the skills of Bedard too, and the reason for that is if we are talking about life, like having the hand-eye coordination skills would be nice to have throughout life versus the height.
Which is funny too, because I hear this a lot. I was just having some conversations with some guys on a message board, and I was having a meltdown over why people always use other sports to talk about what kind of football player a guy is going to be. Like no other sport uses another sport to validate prowess.
Sure.
Right? But I always hear track come up with football, and I'm like, it's so funny because not only do you never run in a straight line, it doesn't take into account processing.
Nor the fact that you aren't wearing pads.
So it's just
type of equipment.
But here's the other one that drives me crazy. Oh man, listen, let them play soccer. Soccer's like the end all be all. Yeah, if you're a goalie, like I understand the footwork, but you still need to use your hands and be able to catch and throw a ball.
Right.
Two things that you'll never do in soccer unless it's a two-hand overhand pass, right?
Wait,
like,
you're not supposed to catch the ball in soccer?
No wonder I didn't. So unless you're Kevin Love, it doesn't help, right? Like, why do people always say soccer with footwork? I get it, but it's not the end-all be-all.
With footwork, I mean,
that's it. That's it.
Sure.
Because it doesn't help. It will never help you hit a ball. It will never help you catch a ball.
Now, soccer is also good without the ball.
Oh, you fitness?
Well, just processing. Like so,
spatial awareness.
Yes.
Okay.
So like playing.
I get it.
Playing defense.
I get it.
Reading the field. Knowing where the ball's going to be.
I get it. Anticipation.
Right.
It helps develop your anticipatory set.
But I'm with you.
But it is not. People talk as though it's like
you can know where the ball's going to come, but you also have to catch it when it comes that way.
Yeah. Like how often?
But maybe you collect it with your chest, right?
How
so
often
like you let the ball come into your
like
chest?
one touch with your foot, like deft, like touch. Like you ever seen those people? The equivalent is going tape to tape. Like you put it on their foot.
Yep.
And it like goes 7 feet from where it should be because they don't have the. They can't play it with their feet.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't even know why I said that, but go ahead, Shane. Just to buy Shane some time to practice reading.
Number 5.
Just another DBism.
Which coach on the market will be the best to take over the Suns?
Nick Nurse.
Nick Nurse. Yeah,
he's the best coach available. He's top 5 coach in the NBA. How he's without a job is beyond
One
me.
of the best.
But once Jerry Sloan could leave the Jazz, I knew anything could happen.
One of the best tacticians. Really good defensively.
He's
not that the Suns like need a lot of help defensively.
Yeah, they do though a little bit.
They were still in the top half of the best in the league defensively.
They need a
last year.
roster change, so hopefully he can take a good GM with him.
Yes.
Yeah, Nick Nurse is my answer.
And you don't have to be super creative either with guys like Booker and Durant.
I don't know, man.
Like you could let them play though offensively.
Booker's at least still trying to get stuff.
Would you say that's his weakness, like his creativity offensively?
I'm with you.
In the front court.
I'm with you.
Back to NBA title odds. We're just taking ESPN for NHL odds and now NBA title odds.
They keep putting them up there.
Was Boston the top there?
Correct.
Over the Nugs?
Yeah.
Interesting. Goes into our last question.
Question number 6.
Easier path.
If you're given the West pairing of Denver and Vegas or the East pairing of Boston and Carolina, who would you rather have in regards to winning a championship?
One more time. Say that for me slow, my man.
If you were given the West pairing of Denver and Vegas,
okay,
or the East pairing of Boston and Carolina.
Boston, Carolina.
Okay, knowing now Boston's the favorite, because I would writing this question, I would have thought Boston was behind Denver.
I think it's because Boston has to see the Heat,
right?
And the Heat have the lowest odds, right?
And that makes sense. But okay, maybe swap Carolina with Florida. Would you still take Boston and Florida over Denver and Vegas?
Yes.
Because I agree with you with Boston and Carolina.
Because Carolina is only minus 130 over Florida, which I think is ridiculously low for a series price. Because the consensus is that Carolina's playing the best hockey. Minus 130, like even Brian Edwards would lay that juice, and he's not a juice guy.
So, okay, Denver. Is this the year that they finally get over the hump?
Well,
Boston, is this the year you get back to where
what did that just say? It said the Denver's plus 250 and the Lakers are plus 300. That's what it was.
That
right?
is correct. Yeah, I can see it at the bottom right now.
Okay, so that's just
too close. Too close for comfort.
Yeah.
Now Vegas, on the other hand, they're one step above Dallas, right? Because Dallas was third when we looked at the odds.
Yeah, it went Carolina. Who's last?
Carolina,
Florida?
Vegas, Dallas, Florida, right?
That I don't know if that doesn't sound right. It sounds like Dallas was last, but maybe I better check it out.
But that's why I was so shocked. No, I think it is Florida, because when you had said it's only minus 130, it blew my mind that they were given, what was it, plus 330 odds?
So the correct order: Carolina, Dallas, Florida.
Dallas
No, Carolina and Vegas have the same odds, roughly plus 225. Dallas and Florida are roughly plus 300.
Okay.
Dallas is in the last spot if you look at the aggregate, like DraftKings, FanDuel.
Yeah, the whole thing, the whole shebang.
Surprises me a little.
That surprises me too, because I would have guessed that they have.
Do you know what it is though? I think people are worried about their offense.
Yeah, I'm not worried about their defense though. Defensively, I was going back and forth, like I told you today, with Adam on Twitter last night about Stuart Skinner.
I know.
And that's somebody that has a D-core though. Dallas. Dallas has some names in front of Ottinger. So, gosh, giving them that low, I can't keep sleeping on Vegas. I'll go with Boston and Florida too, just because of where Denver was placed with the Lakers.
So what it boils down to for me is who each team has to get through to get to the finals. The Lakers have to go through Denver, or Denver has to go through the Lakers. That's the most competitive, more than Boston and Miami. So the hockey thing is just an additional bonus. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Boston has the perception of the easier path, and I think hockey. Well, he does Big Red.
Sure.
Cass.
Big Red.
Dave.
I was thinking,
Dave.
What is that song?
It's
it's Thrift Shop where they say honky. Anyway. Macklemore?
Yeah. I am not going to be your friend here in about 5 minutes when we go to break. I took the path.
Go back. Sorry.
Do I have to come over there and pick up something again?
Yeah, my pride.
Roo. I'm just taking the team in basketball at the path of least resistance. I don't feel comfortable that the Lakers will win, even though I think they have the second best player on the floor with regards to his team. Is that a hot take?
No, I don't think so.
Many people do say LeBron is the GOAT, but for what Jokic does, he's the best player in that series. Certainly the most important. Certainly the most important.
And he'll have to show out. He'll have to ball.
Hot take?
Jokic? No.
Not a hot take.
Not that he has to ball?
No. Because it's not often you think LeBron is the second most important player in a series, but I think this time he actually is.
Shane, we appreciate the questions, man.
I do
Great
not,
work.
because he still can't read. Like, that hasn't changed. I don't know why you don't practice or Google it or get hooked on phonics. One of the three. You got options, right? But when you don't peak until you're 49 years old, I get it. Everything's downhill. Not because you're close to the ground. Sorry about that. He doesn't know what to say. It's okay.
Well, you want a bonus question?
Oh, Lord. What'd we get?
And I don't even know if this is going to be wrong, but I mean, it just totally fits in for today.
This ought to be great.
Let me hear it.
This from Twitter, the Hustler of Culture. I don't know if he follows you.
That's probably Don. He's crazy.
He says, "Ask DB where zebras get their stripes."
Is this a dad joke?
Seriously, he just might lose it.
I don't know. Where do dads get their stripes or zebras?
That's all it says.
I'm kind of like concerned, like to look it up. Like I don't know if I want to.
No, he's nuts. I'm telling you.
Well, that's why I'm saying
we have a meeting. We don't. The brass has a meeting with him coming up. I can't wait to see how that goes. Although he'll probably be normal in front of other adults. Not a normal person, though. Not a normal person. Good businessman, just not a normal person. No disrespect there, Doug.
Oh, what a day.
Man, who are you telling? Man, what a great game. Where's Doc when we need him, Shane? He's probably in his mobile home somewhere.
Oh, that's cool. He's got a mobile home?
Cruising down the street in his 6'4".
That's totally on me.
I know it, right? Hey, by the way.
What song is that?
That
I know
is
it.
That is NWA. Cruising down the street in my 6'4".
Mm-hmm.
Can't say the next word.
Nope.
But apparently that doesn't seem to matter. What?
Oh, thank goodness the break music is here.
Can I just ask why you're rocking the Bradley Beal t-shirt?
I got this when I went to the game. Product of St. Louis.
Why Bradley Beal? Okay, makes sense. Bradley Beal and Tatum.
Hey, did you know those guys play together?
No, I never heard that, man.
They did not.
Never heard that. They both from St. Louis?
They aren't. No.
Oh.
Yes, they are.
Never heard of that. Never heard that either.
Nope. I'm sure you haven't.
We need a break.
Are we getting our recruiting footprint back in St. Louis yet?
I don't know. You want to talk Carson Ronner?
Rogers and Benning will be back in 5 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 4 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 3 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 2 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 1 minute. Rogers and Benning will be back in 30 seconds. Coffee and Cream with Rogers and Benning on Hail Varsity Radio.
Well, at this time, I think would be a great time to tell you about one of our fantastic sponsors on the show. And that is who, DB? Dingman. Because we've been dinged up a little bit today, and I wanted to just make sure that we could get something in. Speaking of being dinged up,
listen, it's okay.
My car,
it's okay.
Somebody with a red car dinged up my
Nightbird,
my nice white car.
Yeah,
like there was a red spot on the door, and I'm like, oh, did I get that yesterday
Dude,
when I
I'm
went to
telling
state
you, man,
soccer?
people are-
Did I get that yesterday when I went to Werner? Like, where did I go? Where I would
Top Golf.
And it could have been Top Golf. Great
But
call.
soccer's probably.
But I was downtown for soccer, so that was what led me to say that first.
More and people
don't
coming.
know.
I have a little one above my wheel well, my rear wheel well, and I just don't know why people just can't be cool. Like, hey man, my bad, or hit me up, or
maybe, or just careful. Like when you get out of your car, like if you park close to me.
Well, you wonder
take
why,
your time.
You wonder why I make a big deal about parking. I know it seems OCD-ish and like I need to probably get a life, but it's because of stuff like that, to be honest. But at least we'll
but
keep
it
the
could
fine
be
folks.
anything, though.
Don't zip it, Marty.
Marty, it's probably
Isn't that a line in a movie?
Probably Back to the Future.
Yeah, Google zip it, Marty. See if that's a line.
there's probably kids on the other side, and maybe the parents just need to park a little bit farther away so the kids can get out and be a little bit because kids aren't as careful. So I don't know. I sometimes you want to give them a little bit of leeway.
Saying I should have never got out of bed today. Wow. That's what we're on?
Well, wasn't that the noise I made? I mean, that's
okay.
I'm out.
Okay.
I'm out.
Okay.
I'm out. No, I'm going into hibernation. You guys can wake me up whenever.
Guess what I'm not apologizing for? Racist jokes.
Wake me up when it's the winter, man. Wake me up.
That's what we're on today.
Yeah, but I unlike normal bears, I hibernate now. Okay.
My mom's probably like, that's it. I'm done.
Your mom's not going to listen to us anymore. And by the way, Snippet Marty, I haven't found.
She's the only one that will never, ever, 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 ever utter a bad word about Shane. They're Facebook friends. Like, she just.
That is one thing that.
And you know what's funny? He gets away with mom jokes
all the time.
Like, he says D, like he calls her by name. And she's cool with it.
That's true. That's true.
I got nothing.
Believe me, I know.
Stevie's about to jump through that little window.
Can you believe what he just did? It was just a coincidence.
Oh,
though.
no. I'm over. I went into hibernation. If I could have believed it, I would have sat here and joined back into the conversation. But
that's why I'm particular, though, about parking.
Curtain over.
Because some people don't care. They're like, some people don't care. As long as you're in the lines. No, it doesn't work like that. And I'll just get my steps in. I take one for the team. I straightened out the carts at Walmart yesterday.
Man, you would be that guy to do that.
Yeah.
Good on you.
I did.
Or is that good on you? Or is that just OCD?
OCD.
Yeah.
Totally OCD. Because it's another 3 feet. And just aim, right? Like, how do you not get it in the slot? Like, just another.
How do you miss?
Okay. See, you know.
Hey, so when I went to Sioux City,
I'm trying. I'm really trying. And between you two yahos, it's just like.
Hey, so when I was in Sioux City, and we got pizza up there.
Yeah.
Speaking of being OCD, because I'm a little bit OCD, but I'm not as much as you. But there was somebody that was like super OCD that I was talking to the GM because he was a friend of mine when I.
Is this Musketeers or Sioux City?
GM
at a car place
of pizza.
Oh,
pizza,
okay.
At the pizza place.
Okay.
And he was talking about people being OCD, and he's like, yeah, I was waiting on this table one night, and the way the guy ate his pizza, so say it was cut into 8 slices, he would take one from here and then one directly across from it so that it still looked like symmetrical, right? And then he would take one in the middle here, one in the middle here. And so it had to be more than 8 slices, but you kind of
I get the,
and so
like
he walked back over to the table and goes, how much do I have to comp off your bill? Because they were full.
Yeah.
He's like, how much do I have to comp off your bill in order for you to eat this slice of pizza so it forces him to eat that slice of pizza? Because he was so OCD about it. And the guy did it. He comped like $10 off and made the other guy eat the other piece of pizza so that it wouldn't look.
I would love to make fun of somebody like that, but if you ever watch me eat a sandwich, you'd be like, what a weirdo. Like, I'm eating the outside first so I can end at the middle.
Yeah, you're weird. Like, that's, yeah.
Well, if it's a square, it's only really like
the
4
kid's
slight.
A square, Benny.
Like if it's
square.
4 slight turns. And I'll eat like a foot long from the rounded end first. Or
so you'll eat it backwards?
Oh, yeah. Or if they don't slice the bread all the way open, like I do, because I don't want all the stuff pushed to one side.
I know what you mean.
Right?
Because if you get a sandwich at a sandwich shop, sometimes the lettuce is just all on one side and the meat's in the middle.
I like balance.
Yeah, sure. So I'm good with that. But eating it from the round end.
You don't eat a steak and like save the part you think is going to be the best for last?
No, I eat left to right like I read a book.
That's weird.
Maybe, but I also eat in portions. So I'll only eat the meat first, normally.
Oh,
and then I'll eat mac and cheese or whatever. And then I'll eat the salad or some type of order.
Really?
I am an order guy. Yeah.
You don't
you want to eat the best first?
Oh, my mom said, tell Damon I do the same thing. You finish your sandwich in the middle, Mom?
See, but we've seen her and I, we have always vibed.
You guys have seen eye to eye from the very beginning.
Yeah. Like there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? You don't save like the perfect chip, the one that doesn't have the brown on it, or
Mom, WWBD. What would Barry?
The
do?
green on
Barry
it.
wouldn't eat his sandwich to the middle. Barry would just eat the sandwich.
I could see Barry looking at me with dead dog with a straight face and being like, "Who gives a blank?"
Side note: he's coming up this weekend to. He's bringing up a patio table for obviously my back patio.
Really?
And he's coming up on Saturday.
Did he find a deal, or you got one of
my
the old ones?
sister's? She got a new one, so she said I could have hers.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, really excited. And so he's driving it up.
Is now a good time to say out loud the sister that you get along with, or?
Here he goes. There he goes. I've been poking.
You've been hanging me out to dry all day.
I've been poking, and here he is. Here he goes. Hey, welcome to Coffee and Cream.
Oh, shoot.
There he is.
Oh, whew. Okay. All right. I'm better. You got. Sometimes
We're having fun. Having fun.
Sometimes it happens.
What's in your little baby cup? Water? You
Yeah.
always get the Zoe cup. Yeah.
Well, listen.
Look at, show everybody your Zoe cup of water. You don't drink brown, so I know it's not soda. So yeah, just chugging water over here, trying to stay hydrated,
dude. I'm now.
Well, it is a stronger cup.
Who asked you?
he butts in because he knows he drinks out of those.
So, like, to de-escalate my where I'm at internally, because I never like to let people see what I'm actually. You've seen me coach before, right? Like, I kind of have a style, and I like to stay, productive and even keeled. So no matter what's going on internally, I try not to let people. So I have to regulate my body temp, because inside I'm steaming right now. like you would never know, but like I'm.
No, you're as cool as a cucumber.
Yeah, because sometimes you just gotta laugh it off.
So I'm the king of laughing things off.
My favorite is when somebody does something and it has consequences, and it's like, hey man, that wasn't my intent. No kidding. no kidding. Like I get it. So how about this? How about we're a little more self-aware? Like, do that. It's called preventative measures. I can't stand it wasn't my intent. You don't say. Probably wouldn't be talking to you if I felt like you were malicious in nature.
That's a fair point.
So let's just cut through
Learn
the chase.
from it, right?
Yeah.
And move forward.
Which is why I'm into. Don't laugh, Shane.
Jungle friend.
Jungle friend.
You can't tell me not to laugh. And we'll be back.
Maybe.
Rogers and Benning will be back in 4 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 3 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 2 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 1 minute. Rogers and Benning will be back in 30 seconds. Coffee and Cream with Rogers and Benning on Hail Varsity Radio.
It wouldn't shock me if TV's on its way out the door right now. This is funny. We live interaction on the show right now. He went to go let somebody in, and they're at our back door. This is live radio right now. He's like, it's on the inside of the door. Oh man, I can't wait to explain it, but it's gonna be too obvious until our man walks out. He goes to the back door and he's like, "Hello." Hello? What are you, like a child when the delivery guy comes to the door and you're like, who is it? And you're trying to hide behind the window?
Well, according to this show, you think I get the doors anyway.
Stop it. Nope. All right. See ya.
Hey, so real talk. I can't believe I just said it. All right, so listen, though. So I'm like, did you hear the whole exchange?
I heard you go, hello? Who is it?
Hey, and then I go, pardon? Because he goes, I'm not going to say what he said. And so I opened the door and I was like, good thing you're not the feds. And he goes, hey, just off the cuff. I don't know this guy from Adam, right? I go, hey, at least you're not the feds. And he goes, hey, man, I already love the show. See?
I thought it was the FCC coming in.
You can't take me anywhere.
Oh.
I mean, this is just how the day is going.
Oh man!
By the way, Amazing Daniel said he is coming over to Hail Varsity for lunch.
Is he going to ding my car with his red door?
No,
he did tell me he had a red car, so
he did tell me not to bring my racist friends.
Yeah, I don't know who
Shane,
he's talking about.
You're out.
I don't know who he's talking about.
Zero lunch for you, Shane. All right, it'll be me and so maybe Daniel can walk us through how he cleans up the stage, because when he performs, he picks up after himself.
Man, I saw his get up when he performed, and I'm like,
did you see? So he apparently can drink and work. Did you? He was like having some. It looked like tequila.
You and tequila make me
so
crazy.
He can like just play.
I'm sure he's not playing Kenny Chesney.
Dude, he has like 6 instruments at his house.
What's his I can ask him this when he shows up, but what's his genre? Like, does he play everything? Does he have one like set thing?
Do you want to What's kind of what we've been doing? Do you want to stereotype with long hair?
No, I'm not going to stereotype anything. I just want to know. I mean, I know a guy with long hair that sang like a John Mayer song.
By the way,
AGT.
Do you know what we watched Saturday after Jack? We changed it because we were waiting for the next USFL game to start. But do you know what was on the other day? Speaking of hairdos, Meet the Robinsons.
Stop it. And you watched it from start to finish,
No,
right?
we just flipped through it because I just wanted.
And you're like, hey guys.
No,
tell me that
I was like, hey, Lob,
Andrew.
you know, you're a kindred spirit. The guy that you guys both have those weird habits. That's who I say he looks like. And he just laughed and laughed.
Yeah,
and
not
laughed.
shocked. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway,
I still don't see it. But
so
all right.
did you hear? Can we just go back to the guy knocking on the back door?
Yeah, let's go. Let's go back.
Did you hear the knock though?
No,
it was.
That's why I thought you were leaving. I thought you just said, I'm done.
So it was like,
very soft.
Like he was at the house or something.
Well, I love how
that's a steel door.
I love how you like put your ear up to it just to like give you like a better chance to hear what he's saying.
Yeah, it's like,
but it's almost like you were looking through like the little people in a hotel room. Like, who's at my door right now? Is it housekeeping or?
I almost did the voice. Let's just say housekeeping.
You're gonna go housekeeping.
No,
yes, you were.
No, I was not. No, I was not.
It's okay. Do the voice. I want to hear the Matt Rule voice.
No, I got to go into character.
All right, Matt Rule. Okay, here we go. You miss out on Dylan Raiola, but we talked about yesterday. What did we talk about? That he forgets soon and he looks toward the future. What did he post, or what was posted like 3 hours after Raiola committed? It was Matt Rule in a picture with Stone Sounders.
Yeah. So I think Nebraska's had a good idea for a while, right? Because you know, like you've done this long enough, and I think you have an idea. But here's the thing, though. So I don't know if you believe the reports. Could they potentially be back in on Danny? The guy that I think to keep an eye on, there's two locally that I think could really have huge senior seasons. Anthony Rizak.
That's one.
And Carson Ronner. Two guys.
Yeah.
Two guys that I think whose recruiting will pick up tremendously in the next couple of months.
So before the season starts or during the season?
During the season.
Okay.
Because Ronner's really, really good. And we know about Rizak. I think both those guys will be two in-state guys to watch if they pull the trigger locally. If they don't, because I don't really know, and I'm not going to ask, oh, hey, where are we with Danny? You going to go make another run at it? Like, I'm not doing that. But I don't know if I believe the reports, because you know this about me because you work with me.
Mm-hmm.
90% of what other people think, I typically don't.
Right. And more times than not, you have a reason to why you don't think like
that. I just don't like the whole announcing in spring. And I was the guy 60-40. I said, I don't feel, full disclosure, I said, I don't feel good about saying this, but right now, 60-40. This was right before Shea put in the crystal ball. So then I maybe thought I may be in a little trouble with Raiola. I was like, yeah,
I can't wait to ask him on Friday too.
I don't think he's coming.
About his crystal ball prediction. And
well, he wasn't the only one,
right? Sure, but when the crystal ball on Dylan Raiola surfaced, it was, hey, Mike Schaefer's name's attached to it. Like that's what people remember.
Oh, I get it.
So, and I'm not going to ask him to walk back anything because there's no reason to. But I kind of want to gauge on why he went and said, hey, there's a crystal ball. I'm putting mine on him. So I just
go back to all the deductive reasoning from when this first started in February. You know, to Mitch Sherman being out there, to what people were hearing nationally, to the decommit from Ohio State, to, you know, him all of a sudden coming to Lincoln, then not wanting to come back to Lincoln, then where he was going. And, you know, finally, even after having like real good, healthy dad about son conversations with Dom, I was still 60-40. I wasn't like, oh, he's not coming. Right now, I did leave that weekend thinking it ain't USC. If it's anybody to worry about, it's Georgia. You could just tell by what he was describing.
Sure.
And then we would text, and because he's a late texter, and I kind of got the sense that it was. I didn't know where the USC thing came from them, but I do get where the USC came from with circumstantial evidence.
Right. Like,
right.
hey,
So it's very understandable. And he's in California once a week.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like he's
Right?
working out there, so it makes sense.
So, but one thing I do think, and I'm gonna get off because we've been I'm not on the Rayola pounded into the
into the people. No, my point was, hey,
my
they
thing
moved
is,
on quick.
Yeah,
and they already pivoted.
Yeah. So, well, he had him on a couple of weeks. He had him on campus a couple of weeks later.
Who, Dylan or Stone? Yeah.
So that kind of let me know, because I remember my man Lance asked me, not Michigan Lance, Bulk Dog. He said, "Hey, by the way, they shut his Twitter account down. He may have gotten in trouble again." But because I was going to send him a message the other day. I don't subscribe to the whole, well, if it doesn't work out, he'll be here thing. I'm just telling you, anything's possible, but that's not how they roll. That's not how it's not a come crawling back to kind of family.
Right.
Right. That's just not how they function.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, Shane, are we taking this call or what are we doing? He's talking so gosh dang loud. I just feel like giving him a hard time because this has been an extra dicey show.
Okay, so we're talking to Jay with no description here. So Jay, what's going on?
Jay, what's up?
What's going on, fellas? I was given instructions to keep it short, right?
We got about 2 minutes.
We got 2 minutes.
Good. Can you hear me, though?
Absolutely.
All right, great. So Dylan Raiola, saw it on Twitter today. He's a Georgia Bulldog. I thought you guys were talking about that when I called in.
Yes.
And you were talking about next steps, I guess, for who we should go get at Nebraska, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
All right, good. Well, I feel like, for one, we spend a lot of time and a lot of, paid media to try to court this kid. And during the process, nobody covered, as much as they should have, who we should be getting after the fact, after we knew we won't get him, after we don't get him. So we need to know as a fan base, if we could, if you guys tomorrow in some way, give us the top 5 prospects that could take Dylan's place. Sidebar, I watched his, film, and maybe I'm missing something, but he doesn't pop off, you know what I'm saying, the screen.
Yeah.
So help me out. Help me understand what I'm missing or what I didn't see.
Gotcha.
I'm out. Hey, good call. Good show, though.
Hey, we appreciate you, Jay.
He does have elite arm talent, but I get the.
Well, so I told you a while back about DR. I said, man, footwork. I don't know if
No, I get it.
If that's perfect. And
listen,
so that was always
it's
my
fair.
thing.
Completely fair.
But arm strength
and
IQ.
And when he threw here in Lincoln, he was unbelievable. So he's a guy you have to, when you watch him live, like if you watch him on film, maybe you don't see it, but you watch the ease and effortlessness in which he throws. But I'll give you 4 options for Nebraska at quarterback. They won't necessarily be in order, but I'll give you 4. I'll give you 4. Is tomorrow Mitch or is he the next week?
No, Mitch was last week. You unfortunately missed him because you were at Caleb's surgery.
Bless you. I missed
So you have to miss 2 weeks of Mitch.
It's okay. We'll make it up.
Yeah, we'll get into that, Jay. We appreciate the call and appreciate the segment idea. And if anybody else out there has those, always call them in. We'll be back tomorrow, maybe.